You guys watch for Mark Feinsand. All right, let's see how bad that looks on YouTube and everything else. You guys can take 10% off those last 3 teams to close that half. Our district looks good. Let me check Twitter. Yeah, Twitter is what it is. YouTube. Yeah, we'll live. We'll live with that. I don't even care about Twitch. All right, so we're ripping half case 1, half case 2, and then super jumbo 5 if we can fill it. Super jumbo 5 if we can fill it. So Zach Halley close out the Marlins. Half case 1, half case 2, super jumbo 2 box 5 if we can fill it. And then at 10, it's the debut of our friend Hank from Bat Flip Breaks. He's got a 4-boxer listed in the MLB baseball team districts. So you can go in there and bid on those. And that'll rip tonight. Bidding is still live for about another less than 2 hours. So each team is listed in the 30 team districts, and that'll be his debut. So go in there and hit him with a bid for me. Go to your favorite team district and pop a bid in. And then we're coming back tomorrow too. So we'll get started when Mark shows up. I'll invite him in, and we can hit him with some hard-hitting questions and controversy, and we'll rip packs while we chat with him. He can stay for as long as he wants. I did give him and his son Zach the Diamondbacks in this spot, and then also I just noticed it and I forgot Jason Lockenbora is in the Orioles spot in this too. So only one I'm missing is Aaron Andrews, who probably blocked me after the Celine Dion thing. There's Mark. Welcome, Mark. So, Mark, it's No, we're doing the PYTs now. We're doing. Let me get a post-it note for you. So for guys that aren't around a lot, the setup looks a little different. I can't use the OBS streaming software and have a guest on camera, so I've got to go just stream from the iPhone. So this is Bowman Draft 4-box PYT1. So again, a little bit different setup, but I cannot do OBS while I've got somebody on. So, Mark, it's kind of up to you when you're ready. If you want to rip for a little bit first, and then you and Zach can jump in or whatever. So you and Zach have the D-back spot. Again, I mentioned Jason Lacafora's got the Orioles spot. I actually forgot about that until now, and I talked to him before when he got in it. Marlins are Zach Halley. And then, like I said, we'll kind of rip and talk at the same time. Mark, I will send you the invite. Let me figure out how to do this. And it's been a while. Nope, that's the sound effects. Yeah, can I get some of that Severino money? Yeah, I've only done this once. Let me figure out how. Nope, that's not it. There we go. There's the invite, Mark. There he is.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's up, Zach? What's up, Mark?
How's it going?
So, you guys have done this before. I know you said you just ripped some Bowman Draft last night. How did it go?
Yeah, so. As happens with Bowman Draft, you don't always hit the best guys, but we had fun ripping it and pulled a few decent ones. Nothing that's going to allow me to retire anytime soon.
Yeah. So, hey, Lockett Ford just jumped. I got a message that said, "That's my dude. Great guy."
That is my dude.
Yeah, he's got the Orioles in this. So,
Of course he does.
yeah. Hey, so yeah, that's the thing with Bowman Draft. It might be a while before you're like, wow, that was a good card. And,
Yeah, that's the thing. You look at it now, you're like, I mean, I remember what was it a few years ago? Khalil Watson was like the big chase, and
yeah.
now what? I mean, it's sometimes that a guy like Skeens is going to be the big chase, but most times it takes 2, 3, 4 years before you really have a good feel for who the big guys are going to be out of the product.
So it's funny. This week and last week we've been going through some older products, and I ripped like 21 Bowman Draft, 22 Bowman Draft, and even some of like even going back to last year 23 Bowman. It's like, yeah, I remember all of us being excited about this guy, and I'm just kind of going through it like it was no big deal. And
It's funny. I think back to when I started collecting in the '80s, and we were, there would be certain rookie cards or future stars that we'd be all hyped up collecting. And I have pages and pages and old albums of Ty Griffin and Mike Harkey and all these guys who were supposed to be these can't miss prospects. And the sleeves are probably worth more than the cards at this point.
So how far back does your collecting go?
I probably started collecting in like 1979 or 80.
Okay.
It's like 4 or 5 years old. Of course, most of my cards from back then are probably not in the greatest shape because I was 4 and 5 years old, and we didn't really know about sleeves and top loaders. And if you were trying to be careful with your cards, you put them in a binder. So, and obviously, all the stuff from the '80s and early '90s is just a lot of junk wax. Um, but got a few gems. Zach just pulled this out to show you guys. This is probably the gem of my collection.
Okay, what I can't see the grade. What's the grade?
It's actually not graded; it's authenticated.
Okay.
But I, it's the gem of my collection because this is a card that I had Mickey Mantle sign for me personally when I was
Oh
17
wow.
years old.
Yeah.
So I got it authenticated just to slab it and protect it. But yeah, this is from the day I met Mickey Mantle when I was in high school. So
Wow.
that's that's one that I've kept for years, and I just got it slabbed in the last year or two just because I was really worried about it. Just the condition of it disintegrating.
So I'm a big Mantle guy too, and I finally got and Yankee stuff too. I'm a big Yankee fan, but I had Mantle first. I couldn't find Maris, and then Phil Hughes, former Yankee, had a Maris from like one of those 1979 TCMA cards. It was autographed, and I got it from him dirt cheap. But so I've got Mantle, Maris, um, DiMaggio. DiMaggio's a little easier because he signed so much stuff. But yeah, we'll have to do a specific Yankee chat and either excite a bunch of people or annoy them.
Right.
So let's talk work a little bit. Everybody's wondering about Soto. What do you got for us?
We're all wondering about Soto. I don't have much. I think it's I think we pretty much have narrowed it down to who the final four are, which would be the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, and Blue Jays. Um, I think we'll probably know by early next week. The winter meetings begin Monday in Dallas, and I think most people believe that he will have a decision made. By the first or second day of the meetings, if not maybe even by Sunday. Um, I've thought all along it was New York and New York were going to be the two. Boston and Toronto are still in it, but I would still say the Yankees and Mets are probably still the favorites. Though I don't know if I could necessarily say which one has the best shot because you know he played with the Yankees for a year. The Mets have more money than everybody. They're both good teams. The Mets were in the NLCS this year, so it's not like he'd be trying to join a team that's rebuilding or on its way up. So I think the two of them have a pretty equal shots at him.
As a Yankee fan, I'll be pretty bummed if he doesn't come back. So
I
I actually
will
met him
too.
at a Tops event. Super nice guy. Took a picture with him. He was giving away cards, his Tops autographed card. It was a big. I think he's a great dude. I like him. I like what he does for the team. And yeah, I think the last Yankee that left that hurt me was Cano. That ended up working out in our favor a little bit.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I hope he stays. If he ends up with the Mets, I'll threaten to not watch any games. But we know that's not going to happen. So
Well, so here's my question for you as a Yankee fan, and you can answer this too. What would bother you more, him going to the Mets or him going to the Red Sox?
Red Sox.
Red Sox easily, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach's a Yankee
So
fan too.
he is. So given the alternatives of him staying in the division with the Red Sox or the Blue Jays or going to the Mets might not be the worst alternative.
Yeah, yeah, I see your point, but something about that uniform. After Ted Williams and Wade Boggs, I'm done with anything else Red Sox. Those two guys, and Boggs for an obvious reason, but Ted Williams is just benchmark American. So it's tough to not like Ted Williams. But after that, the rest of them, Veritek, all those guys.
You know, like Johnny Damon in '09?
Damon, either way, I mean, I'm not a huge Damon fan.
Come on, that
Yeah,
double steal in the World Series was huge.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. So this time of year is pretty nuts for you. Is this like when an accountant at tax time, you're just buried alive, or you're just kind of enjoying the ride and whatever happens,
I,
happens?
I actually think the trade deadline is more along the lines of the accountant at tax time because there's actually a deadline involved.
Hmm.
Let's say it's July 31st. That's my April 15th. where everything's just sort of busy, 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 and then comes to a head on deadline day. Free agency can be it can be really busy and it can be really not busy. We saw last year when a lot of the big free agents didn't sign until February or even late March. That becomes sort of a months long slog through the hot stove. So each year is a little different, but yes, I'm certainly this year I'm certainly busy. We've already seen 5 starting pitchers sign deals worth 8-figure AAVs. So we've had a little action here. We're still in the beginning of December, and I think with the winter meeting starting next week, you're going to start hearing, besides Soto, Corbin Burns and Max Fried and Santander, Bregman, Adames. You're going to start seeing some more guys sign. I think a lot of the big guys will probably be off the market before Christmas.
Yeah. So I guess with baseball season over, one of the questions my guys had for you was, what else are you into? I mean, is there other stuff you follow pretty tight, or what do you try to get done in the off season?
There's stuff I follow as a fan. Baseball is the only thing I cover. This is
Yeah.
the Commanders are my number one team in sports, and his brother goes to Miami. So before last week, we were really excited about the way this football season was going for the Hurricanes, but that's been set aside now that they walloped themselves to Syracuse. But we are excited about the Commanders. We've got a little Washington PC in this household. We're very excited to try to collect some Jaden Daniels, except I just think every spot and every break of any NFL product this year, the Commanders will probably be the most expensive spot. So they're going to be a little harder to get.
Have you tried the Bowman Chrome U stuff? Because I think we just pulled a Daniels autograph today.
Really?
Wait, Daniels is in this year's Bowman Chrome U?
Oh wait, no, I got my.
That's last
my
year's, and I don't even think he was in the set last year.
Yeah,
because we opened a fair amount. We opened a fair amount of the Bowman Chrome U last year. Yeah, the guy from Kansas. Thanks, Farbs.
Yeah,
he's in there. Jaden Daniels was not in last year, and he's not in this year. But we did pull we opened a blaster of Prism draft picks yesterday, and we did pull a Jaden Daniels out of that. So at least we have something. And then wasn't there one other card we had here?
So I sent you a couple Commanders. Did those do anything for you? Well, Redskins at the time, but
they do something for me, not for him. Yeah. The older players don't resonate quite as much with him, but I certainly appreciated them. I actually, this was a pickup I had the other day. It's a Billy Kilmer auto.
Okay, nice.
I was over. We went to our local card shop when I had a whole bunch of buybacks to spend, and I found some fun stuff for myself there.
So he's too young to remember the really good the Mark Ripken teams and Doug Williams and all that stuff. So
he goes back to about RG3. That's about the beginning of his.
That's even a little bit of a stretch,
right? Yeah, you were what? You were like 4 when RG3 was a rookie. My older son remembers the RG3 era.
So my son's early 20s, and he was helping sort the Bowman Chrome U stuff, and he's like, "What's UNLV?" And I was like, "Let me tell you some stories, dude, about UNLV."
Those early 90s UNLV teams were pretty crazy. And KEB, you are right. I am an Islanders fan as well.
There you go.
Kristen, you can probably see right here at the top of my finger is a picture on my wall of signed to me by Chico Resch, who obviously was a very old school Islander who was there right before the dynasty. He may have been there for the first year of the dynasty, but Chico was one of my early favorites. Oh, hey, Kristen, how you doing? I didn't realize that was you.
Yep, Kristen's been with us with our group since day one,
nice.
Back about 6.5 years ago. So, yeah. Plus, she's a Yankee fan, so she gets a lifetime pass here. So, is that guys have kind of your man cave there with all your stuff, or you got your own?
Yeah, this is my office. Area? This is my office where you could certainly mistake it for a man cave. My wife has probably had enough of cards being in this room. My desk is overloaded with cards, and we've got all kinds of boxes and stuff in here. It's a little unruly at times, but yeah, this is sort of the one room that I've been limited to just keep as much crap as I want in here.
So for both of you guys, do you have like a Grail card where you're like, yeah, one day we're gonna pick this up, or you're looking for something newer that you just haven't tracked down yet?
He's got a big Curry PC.
I have a lot of Steph Curry. I have one nice Curry auto. I would like to get a really nice Judge auto one day.
Okay.
He had an unlicensed Judge auto that he sold that, right?
Yeah, I made.
He bought it and like doubled his money on it, but he's I think a nice Judge auto is probably his Grail card. I don't know that I have a trying to think if there's one card that I would say would be mine. I don't know. I have a whole shelf over here with a whole bunch of
everything.
Nice.
Some Islander cards, some Redskins cards, stuff like that. So I've been slowly but surely picking up all the Washington players autos that I've been trying to track down over the years. A Joe Gibbs auto is one I'd probably be looking for.
Okay. That doesn't seem like it would be that hard to find, really.
I don't know how many Joe Gibbs cards they made, back in the day. I remember that, like, the 86 top set, they had some coaches that's probably a Gibbs. I've just never found one or seen one. Potvin and Bossy era is my, my wheelhouse. Matter of fact, here, I'll show you guys. My kids bought me for the holidays a couple years ago, or my birthday or something. Hang on, how do I flip this camera? There we go. I have a Bossy Trottier Gillies card, triple auto.
Okay.
And a Bossy Gillies Billy Smith auto. Those are two of my favorites. I got a couple other good Bossies here that I like. That's a ticket stub from their first Stanley Cup that I actually was at. So, and here's my Washington shelf. So, just been collecting guys. And I got Chin-Ming Wong, who I wrote a book about in Taiwan. And then, of course, I have, the most important card.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. I've handed them out to most of our guys that chipped in to send a bunch to you. I appreciate that too. Thank you for signing those and
Yeah, of course.
Safely. And it was a nice thumbnail picture to use for the stuff we did today. But I appreciate that, and you've been great with all the support and everything too. We'll get you guys in a hockey break one day here. So I don't know if you've been in a ton of breaks yet or not, but you're in some stuff tonight, and
it's funny. Hockey's the one I've collected some vintage Islander stuff from the '80s, but we have not collected any hockey cards at all.
Okay.
I do a lot of base. We do a lot of baseball, and then football and basketball. We like to. They're just not. We're big retail breakers, just because we love ripping, and if you're just going to rip hobby boxes, it gets pretty expensive,
especially in football and basketball.
Football and basketball. So, we rip what we can find, which is always fun.
So, do you guys hit card shows? Or are you going to the National, Fanatics Fest, any of that stuff?
So we can't do the National because it's always the weekend before the trade deadline, and like I said, that's my tax season. So we've yet to go to the National. When it was Atlantic City, it killed me because that's like an hour and change from our house.
Sure.
But we've not been able to do that. We did not get to Fanatics Fest last year. I can't remember where we were.
Might have been away, or
might have been in Miami visiting my other son. But we do go to some local card shows. They've got a good one about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from our house at this place called I Play America. It's like the New Jersey Sports Cards Convention or something.
I have it like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, they do it a few times a year. We've gone to that. So we've
Yankees show.
Yeah, there's a show at the American Dream by the Meadowlands every January called the Pinstripe Pride Show. It's a big Yankee show. And we've gone there. I've been selling books. Last year I brought some cards with me as well, and I probably did better with the cards than I did with the books. But we, when there are local shows, we certainly try to go. We both enjoy going through the $5 boxes and just just looking for PC stuff more than anything else. Steve, my son doesn't play for Miami. He's just a big dopey football fan like the rest of us.
So I'm a huge Mattingly fan. So my kids, my son's name is Derek. So my kids only hear the myths of the legend of Don Mattingly. But yeah, that's my favorite player. I've pretty much got every Mattingly thing I need. But you know how it is. You can never have enough. But yeah, family was Yankee fans, and I kind of picked up on it. My kids got it too. But that's I've only been to New York a couple times, but Fanatics Fest is in June this year, and might I think they said the Orioles are in town that weekend. So me and the guys from our group are kind of looking into that. So
Nice.
so I guess
I don't see them anymore.
so you guys have the D-backs in this, and I told you before, Mark, you guys are kind of my test subjects because we've never really tried to have somebody talk while I'm ripping packs. So I'm going to kind of work a little bit. And then you guys, it's up to you how late you want to stay. If you want to go off camera and watch, if you want to watch it later. But I've got you down for the D-backs in this. And then the other half of the case, you have the Rangers. And then in the Super Jumbo 2-boxer, you have the Braves. I kind of mixed it up a little bit with what was left. So I don't know how loud or annoying this will be, but I'm going to rip a little bit. And
Okay,
I'll let these guys lob some softballs at you. And
we lost
I'll
the
kind of.
video, and I'm not sure why.
What's that?
I said I lost my video of you guys, so I can't see the break.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm not sure if that happened when I was when I flipped my camera or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless you can watch it on another monitor. I don't know if you're.
I could put it on my phone.
Yeah, Zach can see if you can get it up on your phone.
I honestly don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Tech's not my big thing, but
Yeah, me neither.
yeah.
He'll try to get it up on the
Good? No.
text it to you.
I got it.
All right, what do you think?
All right, we'll figure it out. You guys can start up.
All right. So yeah, you've got the Diamondbacks in this, and then like I said, I knew the guys had some questions for you, and you got a lot of fans here, and I see you on TV and doing your thing, and um, I've been doing this full time for 3 years, and I've been doing it total 6 years. But I consider myself pretty fortunate to do something I enjoy, and obviously. So how long have you been covering baseball? You've been involved. I mean, a long time, right?
Yeah, I've been covering baseball exclusively since 2001. I covered the Yankees from '01 to '06 for MLB.com. Then I went to the New York Daily News for 10 years to cover the Yankees. And then been back with MLB.com as a national writer for the last 8.
So I mean, you love what you do. It's. I'm sure there's days where you're like, oh man, come on. I mean, if you had ever had something break at like the worst time where you're like, oh, now I've been waiting all day for it, and
In the middle of
well,
dinner.
In the middle of dinner a lot,
yeah.
as Zach and my wife would both tell you. Last year, the Otani thing started breaking in the middle of my friend's wedding, and he was actually a Dodgers beat writer. So it was really bad timing for him.
Hey,
um,
so Zach, you're in now, right? You're watching now,
yeah, we got it
We
on
got
Zach's
it.
phone.
We're
Yeah.
like 1 second.
guys. I don't
away.
even know what this is. Final draft.
Oh, that's
Bryce
a short
Trainer.
print. I read about that yesterday.
Wow. We've ripped open a few cases, and this is for Andrew Moore.
Yeah, that's I think a case hit.
Wow, that's a big one. Hey, so real quick, I want to remind my guys, Batflip Breaks. It's their debut tonight at 10:00. Their MBB Marketplace debut. They've got team auctions going on now. We've got 30 baseball team districts, Mark. So there's a team district for all 30 teams, and guys go in there and post and talk smack and talk trade deadlines and rumors and talk trash. Yankees fans trash the Red Sox and vice versa. But yeah, so guys, the auctions are in each of those 30 teams if you want to check that out. Then Mark, sometimes if you got Yankees breaking stuff, if you want to post in the Yankees team, I might grab some of your links to stuff and post it in there for you too. So
Cool.
all right, so congrats, Andrew, and we'll kind of move this along as we go too. So for you, Zach, I mean, how many times a week are you like, hey, I mean, you probably get used to it. Oh, Dad's on TV, or I saw this interview, or if to you, it's
Yeah,
probably
all the
no big
Instagram
deal.
posts from MLB are just like per Mark Feinsand, and a couple of my friends will like text me like, "Oh, I saw your dad on TV," and so it's just like, yeah,
It's funny. His friends are always like, "Hey, tell your dad to give us, give us the latest scoop or give us the inside scoop." And I'm like, just tell him to follow me on Twitter. When I know something, that's where it'll be.
Yeah.
probably 10 people in the last week have asked me like, "Does Dad know where Soto's gonna sign?" And I'm like, "If he knew, you would know too."
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, like he was just going to sit on it and see what happened,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's funny. And so you're a junior now, Zach, or senior?
Yeah, I'm a junior.
Junior. Okay. There's Kellen Lindsay for Rich Leonard. So, Mark, how much involvement or how much do you do as far as like minor league stuff, or you just anything that applies to the MLB, or
Yeah,
I guess what?
not a whole lot of minor league stuff. I cover the futures game at the All Star game, so I get to see a lot of the prospects there. And I told Zach a couple years ago it was really interesting covering the futures game once we had really started getting back into the hobby because we had started collecting Bowman and being on the field and watching the futures game and talking to these guys. It was like talking to a box of Bowman in real life because it was like, oh, these are all these guys who I've been, collecting their cards and seeing their stuff, and now here he is standing in front of me. So it's always funny to sort of put a real person to the card that you've been collecting.
So we do a lot of stuff here, and I'm in Fort Wayne, which is the Tin Caps, the Padres High A affiliate. So we do a bunch of stuff with the team and stuff. And yeah, as I'm going through cards, I'm like, oh, well, we just saw that guy, on the visiting team when he came, like Ellie Dela Cruz. It wasn't, but 2 years ago, Ellie Dela Cruz was here in Fort Wayne, and I even remember sitting there before I was back into the card industry, hearing them call Tatis in the lineup, and I'm like, "Oh, that's Fernando Tatis's son." That's how it first registered with me. And
That's
then
right.
you look where he's at now, and it's just crazy to think, all those people that have come through. And um, but I guess the thing for me is when you see these guys at a young age, you kind of the ones you like, you kind of root for them a little bit, and then to see them be successful, it's like Jackson Merrill was here, and to see the success he had. I still wish he would have got Rookie of the Year, but it's when you're older, you kind of root for them as kids that are busting their butt trying to make something out of themselves versus hey, I've got that guy's card.
Sure. I find myself just, I don't have a team that I root for. I haven't in a long time just because it's my job. But I find myself rooting for the people that I like. And so when I have a positive experience doing an interview or just talking to somebody or whatever, you always sort of keep it in the back of your mind. It's funny you mentioned Jackson Merrill because I covered the Padres for a series earlier last year and talked to him for a little while. And he was really nice kid, confident kid, a little cocky, but not like in an obnoxious way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I got to keep an eye on this guy, and he was great. And I might have argued for him as Rookie of the Year just based on the fact that he played over 150 games and had more of an everyday impact on his team that got to the playoffs. But you really couldn't argue with Skeens either,
Yeah.
given the year that he had.
Yeah, it's and the funny thing was, I don't know how many times I saw or heard somebody say that, like the three, Skeens and Merrill and Churio too would have been run away with it in the American League. As far as how the class was in the American League.
Yeah, I mean, if either of those guys had been in the American League, they would have won there too. I I was probably split on Cowser and Heel. I always tend to favor the everyday player over the starting pitcher, but that's just me.
Yeah, I was super biased and partial in that I wanted Merrill to win it. I also had a couple early bets in the season just because I knew him and thought, hey, what the heck? And
Right.
yeah, I I'd probably be retired right now. No, it wasn't that much money, but so I guess Mantle's probably at the top of your list. But I mean, who are some of the cool people you've been around where you almost forgot it was work related and just I'm sure you're going to say Mantle first of all, but
Well, it's funny. When I met Mantle, I was actually an intern. I was a senior in high school, and I was an intern for a sports writer slash broadcaster named Stan Fischler. And he sent me down to Mantle's restaurant to cover this press conference there. And Mickey Mantle's restaurant used to be a very popular place in New York on Central Park South. It's not open anymore. But anytime I would ever go there for lunch, my friends and I would go, I would always bring that card with me just in case he was there. And on that day when I went to cover this event, he happened to be there. Um, but so I wasn't even officially really a professional journalist yet. I was still a high school kid, just sort of, there as an intern. Mattingly was the guy who at first, I mean, as a kid growing up in the 80s, Donnie was my guy too. And getting to know him, I mean, I covered him as a coach was a little surreal and very cool. Um, Joe Torre, I covered him for my first 7 years covering baseball. Torre was the manager, and he's been one of my favorite guys forever. Um, to me, the coolest thing, I've gotten to meet some interesting people outside of sports by being around.
sure.
I've met Supreme Court justices. I met the Vice President of the United States once. I got to go to the White House once for the Yankees in 2010, which was pretty neat. Things like that, different actors, and just you get to the point where meeting baseball players for me is not exciting because it's my job and I meet baseball players all the time. There are probably 3 baseball players that I have met that I was actually like nervous and intimidated to meet. Sandy Koufax, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron. Those are the 3 that, those are guys that to me, that's like that's like Mount Rushmore. That's like, these are like guys you read about in history books, not guys you actually have a chance to meet. And so getting to meet those 3, especially now the 2 of them are gone, was pretty special and pretty intimidating. And I will say the one who is still with us, Mr. Koufax, is one of the nicest gentlemen I've ever met in my life. So that was pretty special.
So it's a weird time because, and I don't know, I'm sure my dad or my parents went through the same thing too, but we're starting to lose some of those people, and it makes you think a little bit, and it's you wonder who's next, and you see some of the health scares they're having and things like that, and it's like some of those legends. I mean, it was just a different time, and just before the internet, social media, and in some cases, even cable TV and things like that. Some of those guys are going to be gone, and it's just you think about that, and I've kind of had that crisis in my life too, where I'm like, who's next, and it makes you appreciate the time you've spent around the game and the people you've met and the people you've watched. There's a short list of people where in your mind you're like, I'm glad I got to see them play, during their playing days, and
we were talking about this during Old Timers Day this year when they announced the list of who was going to be there at Yankee Stadium. When I was growing up, and even when I started covering baseball, there were I mean, Joe DiMaggio was there when I started going to games. Mickey Mantle, Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, all these legendary guys from the 40s, 50s, 60s. Yogi and Whitey were the last 2, and they're now you look at the old guys at events like that, and it's Willie Randolph and Reggie Jackson, and
yeah.
Guys like the guys from the '70s who those were the first teams I ever saw play. So it's cyclical, it's generational, and yeah, they've certainly. Homer Bush is an old timer now. You're right, and now guys who I covered are old timers, and I start giving them a little grief. I'm like, so I saw Jason Giambi at an old timers day. I said, so you're an old guy now? And he said, bro, look at the gray in my beard. I'm definitely an old guy now.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's not cool because that means that I'm an old guy now. So, but yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the the circle of life, so to speak, in baseball terms.
And then also you see, somebody's this person junior or that person, and who's the one I was like, Caminiti and some of these other guys where you're like, oh, that's their sons, their kids are in the league now and stuff. And
There are guys who I covered I covered Paul Quantrill, Cal Quantrill's in the league. I covered Tom Gordon, D Gordon. There's a bunch of them that, guys who I covered. The things that started making me feel old were when the sons of guys I covered started getting drafted and playing in the big leagues. I remember meeting Jackson, or seeing, not meeting, he was 5 years old, seeing Jackson Holiday when he was 5 years old. And someone was like, that kid's going to be a player. And I was like, he's 5. How do you possibly know that? And yet now he's a player. So the kids of guys I covered being in the big leagues, and guys that I covered becoming like coaches and managers. That's also another one that you're like, wow, I covered them as players and now they're old enough where they're managers and coaches. So those are two things that certainly start to hit hard.
so for Zach, who's out there that, who's the coolest person you've met, or what are some of the players or the guys you're, again, because you're tied into this too. Who's
Yeah, I
out there
mean,
where you're like, hey, this is pretty cool.
just like meeting Judge and Stanton
Yeah.
when they were both there, like that's just one of the coolest things ever. So I met Shohei last year. He was awesome. Um, yeah, I mean, just some of these Yankees guys. Hopefully,
Zach comes with me to the Baseball Writers
yeah.
Association dinner every year, the big awards dinner.
Nice.
And he's gotten to meet a bunch of players there. And
Garrett Cole last year for Cy Young, yeah, he's awesome too.
a few years ago, he got to meet a whole bunch of different players, and Jerry Seinfeld was there, and that was the only person that I was super excited to meet. But
Yeah.
we each have our own. This year, Paul Skeens will be there, which presumably means that Livy Dunn will be there, and I'm sure she will be a popular attraction in the at the dinner as well.
So yeah, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan too. That would be pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Zach, do you know what you want to do yet? Plans after school, or you kind of have a direction you want to go?
I have no clue.
I was the same. Yep.
He wants to make a lot of money so his father doesn't have to support him. That's what he wants to do.
Pretty much.
There you go. And sometimes the people that do know what they want to do, they change their mind halfway through or years later, and yeah, you've got plenty of time. So
yeah.
At one point, I wanted to be an accountant, and look, I'm opening up baseball cards and talking to you guys. So
I took accounting last year. I can tell you, I will not be an accountant. But
yeah, and there was a phase there too where my dad had a friend who was a dentist, and it looked like he was living the best life. I thought, you know what, maybe I want to be a dentist, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't get into that too. So, Mark, is there a circle of card friends in the business where when you see them, you're talking cards, you're trading, you're opening stuff up, or?
There are a few friends of mine in the business who I know collect. We don't really do a lot of the trading or stuff because I don't usually bring stuff with me when I'm traveling or going to the ballpark. But yeah, I've got a few friends who I know. I did not know that my buddy La Confora was a big card guy now, and I have a whole other thing to talk to him about. But there's a few, and there's guy who used to be a producer at WFAN, Brian Monzo. He's one of my big card guys. We talk a lot of cards. He lives not too far from me, so we'll meet up, and we've done a little business together. So it's fun. That's most of my card hobbying is with this guy. But I've gotten to know some people within the industry, and obviously getting my Allen and Ginter card this year, I now have a buddy at Tops, so I bother him a lot about random stuff, and I'm just like, hey, look at what we pulled here, and he's probably like, that's great, I don't care, but I still bother him about it once in a while.
That was one of the questions you can tell I'm not awesome at this, but I'm like, what am I going to ask him? And then, so the Ginter card, how's something like that go down? What's the process? They call you? Here's a Caglione.
Well, so the process on this one was a few of my friends and colleagues had gotten cards in Ginter before. Jeff Passan is one of my closest friends in the business and just in life. He had one, and Jesse Sanchez from MLB.com had one. And last year, two of my colleagues, Sarah Langs and Mandy Bell, both had cards in Ginter. So I was talking to Mandy one day because Zach used to give me a hard time. He'd be like, "Hey, Dad, Jeff Passan has a card. Where's your card? Ken Rosenthal has a card. Where's your card? I guess you're not that big a deal." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to get in this set." So I was talking to Mandy, and I said, "Hey, how did you get into Ginter?" She's like, "I don't know. Some guy from Tops just reached out to me and said, 'Hey, we'd like to have you in Ginter.'" And she said, "Great." So she gave me the name. I looked him up, and it turns out we had a few mutual friends. One of my cousins was a friend, an old friend of his, and so I had somebody make the introduction, and he's like, "Oh, we'd love to have you in there." He's like, "Actually, your name came up last year, but this and that. We already had a couple people from MLB.com. Absolutely, we'd love to." So he made it happen and got me in the set, and now I'm on eBay trying to collect the rainbow.
So what are you missing? So they didn't let you keep. I mean, obviously you probably
they gave me, so here.
I'm trying to pull you guys some Diamondbacks so I don't get blocked next time I try to mess with you guys.
So this is what like most of the cards look like, right?
Okay.
So they have me sign just the mini card, and then they put it in the frame and the whole thing and make it into a full size card. So I went in there and I signed 750 cards, all mini cards. And then
Wow.
they, some were in blue ink, some were in black ink, some were in red ink, and those were going to be some of the numbered ones. Excuse me. So I didn't know, they let me keep some of the mini cards, but they weren't in the frame. Like they were literally just the mini card. So then as the set has come out, there have been obviously a number of different, parallels, and, there's two different patches, two different relic cards, and there's foils and all sorts of stuff.
So how did they get your relics, Mark? Did you just, hey, here's a sweater I
They
wore at Christmas time, or
I didn't do Christmas time. I did a shirt, a dress shirt, and a tie that I had worn to um cover baseball in. So they were actually game used relics. So that was the shirt. Somebody said, "Please don't give them a white shirt. If you have one shot at getting a patch card, don't make it a freaking napkin." So I made sure to give them a decent looking shirt for a patch purposes. I'm trying to see if I have the other one. So I give them a shirt and a tie.
tie with a mustard
Oh
stain
wait,
on it or something?
no, mine was like I actually arrived today, and this. I gave them a blue and gray tie. So
Okay.
those were my two. Those were my two relics. Um, and then once this came out and people started putting them on eBay, I was like, I just couldn't.
Just bought all of
I just
them.
couldn't stop ordering them. And one of my friends was like, "Can you stop ordering them and let other people buy your cards?" I was like, "I am. I'm not buying all of them, but I did want to try to collect the rainbow." Right now, the out of 10 is one that I'm missing. Um, this is the out of 50, and this is the out of 25.
Okay.
So there have
It's
been
kind of crazy
three.
that you have them and then you got to go back out and get them.
There have been 3 out of 10s that have sold on eBay, and I didn't get any of them. And there actually was also a mini glossy Allen and Ginter 1 of 1 that somebody pulled and put up, and I did not bid on that. I was told that one of my friends was trying to get it for me as like a birthday gift, and it turns out that he was not willing to spend $131, which is what it went for. Um, so the 1 of 1, I don't know if I'm gonna get, but
I feel like we have to know the person, like,
right, I still think there's a chance somebody bought it to give it to me as a gift, but
because like
we'll
who
see.
else is really spending $131 on a lot of money.
It's not very nice.
Yeah. So I mean, is there a moment for you where you're like, I cannot believe somebody's spending this much money on my card?
Oh, it's crazy. It's completely crazy, and uh, we ripped a bunch of Allen and Ginter mostly because my wife wanted to pull my card out of a pack, and Zach pulled one. You pulled a base, or you pulled a mini,
I pulled the mini.
and my wife pulled a base, so they were very happy. My other son has opened a few boxes and hasn't pulled any of my cards, and he's annoyed about that.
So I guess, how do you sign 750 cards? You just kind of 100 a
It's like
day,
a
or you
machine.
do
I will
100 a day?
say that the people at Fanatics, it's like a well-oiled machine, where they it's like a little uh, what's it called? It's like a line in a car manufacturer assembly line,
Yep.
and they just line up the cards on this table. You sign it, move it aside, and they just push the line towards you. And he keeps. It took me probably about 3 hours to sign 750 cards.
How'd your hand feel after that?
Not
Especially the
not
mini
so bad
cards.
actually. I a couple times, a little shake, little 2 minute break, but it wasn't so bad. I was just excited enough to do it, to be able to be in there signing my baseball cards, that I wasn't feeling any pain, and I wanted to make sure to have a good, I mean, when you look at some of the signatures on some of these cards, they're embarrassing, but I do understand when a player comes in to sign 1,000 cards or whatever it is.
A lot more
I,
than
I
that.
now get why Anthony Volpe went from writing his full name, which is a beautiful autograph, to A Volpe, and I'm sure at some point it'll just be AV, like Anthony Richardson's AR, because I guess when you're signing thousands of them, you don't want to. But
It,
I made sure to keep my nice signature intact.
it's funny because I was gonna throw Richardson in there because I've seen some. We've pulled a lot of autos here, and I've seen some where I'm like, yeah, come on. So I don't know if you guys missed it, but so this is the first Pearl pack we've pulled out of this. So you guys are good luck. So we're gonna open that up here in a second.
I know everybody on the break is like, stop talking and start telling us what's in this break.
All right, let's see what's in this Pearl pack. All right, we've got Clark Candiotti, who I assumed was Tom Candiotti's son. Am I right on that? Or
I don't know.
yeah, I mean it's a unique name.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah, we're just gonna say yes, and then people can fact check me later. We've got Tanner Jones, Royals. And guys, when I do the recap, I'll go through and tell you who the owners were on this stuff. So we wanted to make sure Mark and Zach got some time to tell us. And I guess there's only 3 cards in the Pearl pack. Caden Dana. We've opened a variety pack yesterday, and it had 4 cards in it. So what's the coolest thing you guys have pulled out of a box yourselves then? Like all
We
time.
pulled a out of Topps Chrome this year. By the way, Clark Candiotti is indeed Tom Candiotti's son. I just fact checked it for you.
Nice.
Out of Topps Chrome this year, series the first Topps Chrome, we pulled a Jason Dominguez auto out of 50, rookie auto out of 50, gold. That was pretty good. Series 2 a few years ago, Julio Rodriguez's rookie year, we pulled a Julio short print auto.
That was really, really.
That was a
nice
pretty good one. Those are probably the 2 best cards we've pulled out of packs, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Didn't we pull a Caitlin Clark?
We pulled a Caitlin Clark auto at a 75.
Yeah.
Which I instead of selling it, I trade my best friend from since 7th grade has a 12-year-old daughter who idolizes Caitlin Clark, and I ended up making a trade with him for it, for a Steph Curry rookie and an Anthony Edwards Disco rookie PSA 10. So I probably could have gotten more money for it, but she's like my niece, and I basically was like, all right, we'll make sure Izzy gets this card, and you can give me some stuff that sort of matches the value of it.
That's the right way to do the hobby. So I mean, you guys, you're doing it right. You're ripping packs. You're signing cards. That almost sounds like a rack because you could have had a better deal. And I just think it's great when you guys are, because it's a different vibe for me. And let's go back, like let's say even just 10 years. There's so many more players and media personalities and celebrities and stuff that are collecting now. It's and even don't even take in the pandemic in a consideration. so many more people are sharing their collections. They're talking about it. There's more content out there. I'm sure you've seen the stuff Matt Strom does with the Card Life. He's a member of our group too. Great guy. But it just it makes it so much more fun and makes it more mainstream for everybody. Where when I was a kid, you and your buddies collected cards, and outside of the card show and stuff, it was just a different thing, and you never really heard a ton about players collecting. At least I didn't. So
Yeah, and honestly, when we were collecting, we weren't necessarily collecting for value as much. It wasn't a matter
sure,
of what can I get to flip for this. It was,
yes,
when I was younger, it was you're trying to collect the whole team or the whole set, and you trade with your friends. If you had a Barry Bonds and you needed a Rick Russell, you'd make that trade if you needed to get that card. Um, there were rookie cards. We all had Beckett every month, and we knew
Mhm.
what they were worth. And when I was a kid, my one of my first favorite players was Reggie Jackson, and I made it my mission to collect every Reggie Jackson card that had ever been printed. Which now you could never do because there's 800 variations in every one of these
Sure,
sets. But I had every one of his flagship tops cards, and I still have them all, including his rookie. I got it graded bunch of years back. I think what did that came in as like a 7 or an 8 SGC, 7 or 8 because I did it at the time when it was taking like a year to get PSA back.
sure.
And more than anything, I just wanted to get it in a slab for protection purposes. But yeah, you collected your favorite players. You collected. It wasn't when you opened packs. It wasn't about I would open packs. I'd buy packs on the way to school and open them on the bus, and you didn't have top loaders with you to keep them in good shape. So it's a completely different world now. But it's we started getting into this like so many other people during COVID, when we were stuck in the house for months, and at one point we were in the basement looking through some stuff, and I broke out all my old cards and I was showing them to my kids. And one of my friends had told me that they had gotten back into the hobby and I should start collecting again. I was like, we'll see. And then we started, and then it was impossible to find product. I would be going to Target at 5 in the morning on Fridays when we knew they were restocking. Like it was a little
Yeah,
bit of a sickness.
yeah.
But it's been fun, and it's been a great thing for the two of us to do together. Um, so it's been a lot of fun.
I really appreciate the father son dynamic of it too. So I didn't. My dad and I didn't collect together. I knew he had stuff, from he went to a lot of White Sox games based on where we're at and stuff. I knew he had a lot of stuff, but my grandmother threw it all away, and the classic story about having your stuff thrown away.
Of
But
course,
we've got a lot of
my
great
dad has the
people.
same story.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great people in our group, and I'm envious of the ones that get to collect, with their fathers and sons and stuff, because you're right about what it was like to collect then. And I laugh because my thing was I wanted the gold all-star rookie cups, you know
Right,
and you're like, oh, it's got the gold rookie cup, he's got to be good. And I think back of
right.
the Andy Allensons and some of the other guys that had that cup. Who was the Yankees catcher? Bob Guerin.
Yep,
He was like a 30-year-old rookie catcher. And I'm like, oh, he's got a rookie cup,
got to be
he's got to be
good.
good. So but yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. And it's just so awesome to see. And then you talk to other people, and oh yeah, I've got cards, and they get them out. And it's weird because more and more people, I think, are getting them out, and then they're like, you know what, I didn't realize it was a big. And I get this at the shows we do, and we set up at minor league sporting events here in Fort Wayne too. And you get people that, you know what, I'm going to get my cards out. I know I've got. And how many times have you heard, well, I've got some Griffies and I've got some other stuff, I bet it's worth a lot of money. And you're thinking, how many times did somebody ask you, hey, will you look through my card collection and tell me if
Oh
it's
my
worth
god,
anything?
we one of our friends found a big plastic bin of cards and said, "Hey, I know you're into this. Can you look through it?" I said, "Sure." So I took the bin, I went through it, and I called him a few days later. I said, "Do you want me to drop this back off at your house, or should I just throw it away?" I mean, the bin was worth more than the cards.
Yeah, I've had people mad when I told them what I thought it was worth. And well, I'd probably let it all go for 1,500. It's like, I bet you would, dude.
Yeah, I can't.
Good luck getting 15,
Yeah.
let alone 1,500, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of them are in Ziploc bags. That's probably not a great way to handle them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's funny because we sell online a little bit, and I'm on a couple of different groups and whatever. And Zach keeps telling me, he's like, "Dad, use your work Twitter account. You have 200,000 followers." I'm like, I'm not sure that that's the appropriate place for me to be hawking my cards while I'm, trying to do work. But we do have a Twitter, we do have an X and Instagram accounts for our card stuff. So if anybody wants to follow us, it's ZMF Cards, Zach MF ZMF Cards on X and Instagram. Give us a follow. We love chatting with people about cards, and um, we'll put up some stuff for sale. We'll buy a little bit here and there. So it's just fun. We do it, and but no, I can't. No matter how much he asks me, I can't. I'm not going to start doing card stuff on my main card account, on my main Twitter account.
No, I mean he's not wrong. I mean with the following and stuff, but yeah, you don't want to. I'm sure a lot of guys are like that where they don't really want to sell on their workspace, I guess, as it were.
Yeah,
So it's just ZMF cards.
ZMF Cards.
Okay, we'll get you some
I actually,
follows.
I actually signed one Allen and Ginder card
Oh my God,
with
guys!
at ZMF Cards 1 of 1, just to see if it ever got pulled, and if it did, then he can buy it.
We'll get you some followers before X is completely broken, and
Yeah.
then
Well, we're on Instagram too, so
so I guess what's the routine then for Zach? Do you guys have a thing where, hey, I'm going to post on sales threads? We're going to scour eBay this weekend, or you guys kind of have a system?
I don't know if we have a system. We kind of just, when we see something that we think the other one's going to be interested in, we'll
Just text it.
text it to each other, and sort of keep an eye on it there. A couple guys we follow on X will who do stack sales. Will
Buy a lot.
we'll buy a bunch of stuff there. Um, mostly PC stuff, but sometimes something a guy we like or think has some potential, and we'll try to do something there.
So I guess two-part question: are you guys prospectors, and do you grade a lot?
Well, we graded a lot for a while when SGC was running those like $9 Bowman and Tops things, but I've cut back on the SGC. I just found they're just not as easy um, to sell, and plus with the cheap price on them, I was grading more than I should have, and I have a lot of Bowman and Tops rookies and first Bowmans of guys who are
Just like $5 cards.
never going to be worth the grading costs. So now
Kyle Lewis, Gavin Lux.
now we limit the a lot of the grading to cards that I feel a little better about in terms
Yeah.
of I'm looking here. We did a couple of Wembies, we did some Anthony Edwards, got a Bryce Young disco that I thought 3 weeks ago I thought would be used as a coaster at some point. And now he's actually playing well again, or not again, playing well for the first time in the NFL. So there's we grade when we think there's something worth grading, but I don't do the mass grading that I was doing it a few years ago.
Okay, so I don't know what it is with you guys, but this is our fourth box. We've got a Pearl pack and now the Variety pack too. So let's see. You guys are lucky. Now the guys in the other half of the case are going to be like, "What the heck's the deal?" All right, so we got.
And you got a final draft.
Christian Moore.
None of those say Diamondbacks though.
Yeah, I know. I've tried. Yeah, I couldn't. And the Diamondbacks. It's a good spot. It's not a cheap spot. I'm like, and the one break I had the Marlins up. I said, I'm not going to have these guys on and give them the Marlins. Cam Smith. So the Diamondbacks was a good spot, and then in the next half you've got the Rangers, and then in the Super Jumbo you've got the Braves. Obviously, I've had you guys on for an hour. I don't expect you to stay the whole time. You can go off camera and watch, or watch it after the fact, record it, or whatever you guys want to do. But I appreciate the heck out of it. You're going to break Pedro Gomez's record. We had Pedro Gomez on here for a little over an hour from ESPN. Sadly, before he passed, but he was great too. Look at this. Look at this. Rainer to 5 out of the Variety pack for Andrew
Nice.
Moore.
Andrew's
Holy
hitting
cow.
big. Andrew hit the final draft earlier,
Yeah.
too.
Wow.
Andrew's having himself quite a break.
Look at that. That's all because of you guys.
You sure you didn't give us the Tigers, right?
No, and Tigers yeah. So this is the last box of this half. And then if you guys want, I can let you go and you can watch off camera and relax a little bit, or it's totally up to you guys. And you already had a nice fan base here with our group. So guys, we're excited to hear you were coming on, and I look forward to tagging you and everything, especially guys on Facebook looking to move their Tupperware bins with Ziploc bags and 90s stuff. Hey, go hit up the Feinsand family. They're buyers on all that stuff. So this is for Eric Martin. So guys, any other questions for Mark and Zach while we got them here through this box? Or and then Mark,
anybody who follows us, anybody who follows our accounts will follow you back.
There you go. And then Mark, if you can pull some strings and get me in Ginter, the guy's been trying to get me in Ginter. The thing is, though, too, you always get the people, oh, why is this guy in it? Why is this guy in it? Or why is this person in it? And, everything from the people from House Hunters to, the guy that did the Ocean Spray TikTok and stuff. And you always...
Oh, there are several people who we were opening up Ginter, and I would look at Zach and be like, who's this? He'd be like, Dad, he's a YouTube star. You would have no idea who he is.
Yeah. Or people from other walks of life, the disc golfers and
right.
people that from the home improvement shows and stuff. And
don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are plenty of people who opened it and went, who's Mark Feinsand? So I get it. I totally get it. Zebra, to answer your question, I think there's going to be a lot to come out of the winter meetings. I think once the Soto domino falls, you're going to see Burns, Bregman, guys like that. I think you could see 2, 3, 4 pretty big signings at the winter meetings this year. Remember, 5 years ago, Cole, Strasburg, and Rendon all signed on back-to-back-to-back days at the winter meetings. All three are represented by Scott Boras. Boras has Soto, Burns, Bregman, and Alonso, among others, this year. So it would not surprise me if we saw a big string of Boras guys sign at the winter meetings.
So one of the questions that came up too was, how do you feel about the deferred contracts? When I was a kid, Mattingly was the first $4 million man, early 90s. It was a big deal. But now you remember Bonilla. Bonilla was kind of an anomaly. And now you've got, the Ohtani deal, what we're hearing for possibly the Soto deal. I mean, do you have an opinion on it, or you're just kind of, it's their money, it's their business?
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion. I don't have a problem with it because it's all within the rules and every team can do it, right? I mean, last year the Blue Jays and the Giants, I believe, were offered the same $700 million with the deferred money deal that the Dodgers ended up signing Ohtani to. They didn't want to do it. So, I mean, it's, the contracts are all going to get paid, right? I mean, it's $700 million, but Ohtani's deal was $460 present day value. And it's not like the Dodgers are just going to push it off and not pay anything until 10 years from now. They have to put that $46 million a year away in a trust that grows with interest and everything else. And so it's not like they're just paying him $2 million a year and they have no other expenses involved in it. Besides that, the Nationals deferred a lot of money with Scherzer and Strasburg. We've seen a lot of teams do it. The Dodgers are really doing it now, and it's within the rules. Any team can do it. The bigger issue is not a lot of players want to do it.
Yeah,
players want their money. They want their money now. So, if you can find the player who's willing to do it, and it makes it easier for you to do it, or you can do it and still sign other players because you're not paying as high a luxury tax number or whatever it may be, great. But most players won't want to do it. Blake Snell just deferred 50 or 60 million in his contract as well. So it's all within the rules. I don't have a problem with it.
So I always think back to the Steve Young USFL deal where he was promised a bunch of money and never got it. He tells that story too. But yeah, I didn't realize that. I guess I never put any thought into it that the teams have got to prove that they're going to have that available for them and stuff, or else we could just build our own team and defer all the money.
Right. That probably end up in some sort of a lawsuit, I would think.
Make that deal with Zach down the road. Just, hey, I'm going to defer everything for you. There is a DePaula to 99 grass.
Well, apparently we hit a Tommy Troy card and we didn't even see it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Here, Tommy Troy, 150.
Oh, nice.
Got so caught up in talking to you guys. We'll do a little recap here in a second, and I'm hoping to pick you some other worse teams and just send you a bag of sawdust and maybe some stuff from Facebook Marketplace here. What about memorabilia? You guys have anything cool where you had an opportunity to? I mean, I'm not saying steal second base from the World Series or something, but I mean, is there anything unique and cool you guys have stashed there in the man cave?
I've got a few things in here that I've either collected or we've bought at an auction. I'll show you my favorite thing. Hold on. This is not something I bought. This was something that on the last day of what turned out to be the last day. No, I guess it was the last homestand of Mike Mussina's career with the Yankees in 2008. Remember that year, Joe Girardi, it was his first year as the manager, and he was very big on not having junk food in the clubhouse and no sweets, and everybody wanted to eat healthy. Well, Mussina was a sugar maven. He loved donuts and Mountain Dew, and he weighed like nothing. He was a skinny guy, but he loved junk food. So all year he's like, I can't believe I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm not allowed to have a Mountain Dew or a donut in my own clubhouse. So on the last homestand of the year, a few of us brought him in a box of a dozen Dunkin' Donuts, just as a thank you for always being a good guy for us and helpful and all that. And after the game that day, he came over to us and gave us the box back signed.
Oh, that is cool.
And that has been one of my favorite pieces of memorabilia that I've had over the years, just because of the personal nature of it. I'm trying to see what else I got here. Got a John Starks signed ball. That's the only foul ball I ever caught in my life was at the 1989 NLCS Giants Cubs. My bossy puck. Oh yeah, Zach. This is Zach's favorite. This is his signed Aaron Judge
I missed
photo.
a Montana figure.
There is a Montana figure up there. There's a Montana and Buster Posey. My dad lived in San Francisco when I was a kid, when I was in high school. So I have some love for some San Francisco teams as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in here. I've got a bunch of baseballs that I just had from over the years. Matter of fact, that's Kelly Downs, one of my favorite, most random San Francisco Giants of all time.
Okay.
And then up here we've got a John Tavares New York Islanders stick that I wish I had a different Islander, but we bought that at a charity auction.
That's pretty cool. Hey, some quick business here, guys. I need to close the Diamondbacks for the next half of this case. You can send me an offer for $75. We'll take $15 off and rip that next. So I've got one team hanging up in the other half of this. As bad as the first half was, the second one's got to be better.
I was going to say there have to be more Diamondbacks in the second half.
Let me run through a quick recap here. So here is Titus Sissel to $4.99 for you guys.
Did we get an auto of him?
I think we might have.
I think we may have pulled his auto in our hobby yesterday.
And I will. There's another Tommy Troy. I'll find some other stuff that's in you guys' wheelhouse that we'll send to you. That way you guys can have some other cool stuff to look at versus unless we hit you a superfractor in the rest of the break. Other stuff.
If you hit us a superfractor, you don't send anything else.
Yeah. Not even the superfractor. I'll just tell you I lost.
Yeah.
In all of the time that we have been collecting now for 4+ years together, we've pulled one of one. And it was a printing plate of Joey Wendell from Topps Series 1, like
21.
2021, maybe. We ended up selling it for $75 to somebody who told me he was the biggest Joey Wendell collector in the world. And I had to believe him, because who would say they were a Joey Wendell collector if they weren't? So,
Yeah, it's not just something you make up.
right.
Pick the window, yeah.
Right. I was looking at what other one-on-ones are going for, and it was like, all right, well, most of these are going for like 100, 125. I was like, but it's Joey Wendell. And this guy, like, he like sent me pictures of his Joey Wendell collection. I was like, you don't have to send me more pictures. I trust you. You're a Joey Wendell collector. How's 75? And he was perfectly happy to pay it. So that was our one of one.
I mean, it sounds like you guys have it figured out. I mean, you're doing your thing and you get how the hobby works. And I think there's some people that kind of don't get it, especially in your line of work and stuff. But I've seen posts from people where, maybe they do stuff linked to Tops or they tag Tops, and it's like, okay, I have doubts whether this guy really collects. And there's no question you guys are tearing it up. I'm just waiting here for a D-back spot. Oh, here we go. We got an offer. So that's closed. And like I said, you guys will have the Rangers in the next half. Now watch, all the D-backs will hit. Now that I switched to the Rangers. And then the Braves in the Super Jumbo. It's up to you guys. I'd love to have you come back again another time. I've already taken up an hour of your time, but I appreciate
We're fine hanging for a little while, because we're
All right.
going to watch anyway. If
Yeah.
if you'd like us to get off of here so you can concentrate on the cards, that's cool too.
Nope, I'm not going to run you off. If you're good, I'll leave it up to you guys, and I'll let these guys lob a couple softball questions at you and stuff. And
Yeah, bring them on.
Cool.
Pedro
Yeah.
Pedro was one of my favorite people in the world. So the fact that I'm up in his company in terms of staying on here for a long time, that's good company for me.
So, and I'm totally comfortable with this as a man too. When he passed, I mean, I was emotional about it, because he was the time he spent with us. And you get a vibe when you talk to people where they've got a foot out the door and they're not really feeling it. I mean, we talked about his son, his son going through the minor league system.
Yep.
And Al Kaline, his favorite player, we sent him a Kaline autographed card, and he tweeted and tagged us and stuff. And I was it was one of the highlights for me of doing this. And he was just and I'm sure you get this all the time, Mark, where you meet somebody and you're like, yeah, okay, that's not what I expected. He was just a genuine, awesome dude. And and I only knew him from TV, the reporting during the games and stuff like that. But to talk to him, I mean, it was, and I think it was about this time, wasn't it, Kristen? A few years back that we had him on in like November, and it just, yeah, you just, for me, you don't run into a lot of people like that just would enjoy telling stories and stuff. And even now, I'm kind of thinking about it because he was just so awesome. So
yeah, he was one of the great guys, not only in my business but just in life. And it was very devastating for all of us when he passed, because there was, there are those certain people when you go to the ballpark who you don't see often, but when you do see them, you just, it's a good day. And he was one of those people. Every time you saw him, it was just a big smile and a big hug and catching up on your families and all that. And he was just quality dude.
So I guess, and for me, I'll be 50 at the end of the year, but I've kind of reflected back on who, whether it was work related or just people I knew in my life. Do you have what you would consider a mentor, whether they're still around or they've passed, or do you have people that you kind of hold in that regard?
Well, I will be 50 in 13 days, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, mine's 30th.
I had a professor at Boston University named Jack Falla, who used to write for Sports Illustrated back in the 80s and 90s. He was probably my biggest mentor. He was a professor of mine in sports journalism, and we stayed in touch for, years after I had him in school, and kept him up through my career. He passed away a number of years ago. He was a huge mentor for me professionally. Um, I've picked up a little bit from a lot of different um, people that I've worked with over the years, different beat writers that I was on the beat with who helped sort of show me the way. Um, you know, Guys who really helped me out early in my career. I don't know that I would necessarily say they were mentors, but they certainly helped
Sure.
helped guide me. There was a gentleman named Paul C. Smith who covered the Rays for MLB.com, who was a really, really important person in my life. He also passed away. So, it's tough when you lose people like that. But, there have been a lot of people who have really influenced me and, played a big part in me learning how to do my job better than I knew how to do it before.
Sure. And obviously, you're very good at it, so we appreciate that. And for me, I know there's people that are on pins and needles on the signings and stuff. For me, if it's something I can't control, I'm just kind of like, let's just see what happens. I mean, obviously, I'm hugely invested in the Soto deal because I don't want to see him leave the Yankees. But it's a business, and it kind of, you know, I think as a kid you'd get mad. I'm a big Niners fan, so like Rice and Craig left the Niners. I'm like, why are they leaving? And then as you grow up, you kind of realize, yeah, it's a business, and people are going to do what's best for their families and their situations and stuff. But I think I've disconnected a little bit from that level of fandom, just because if you don't a little bit, you're constantly hurt. I mean, that's kind of the give and take with sports. That you're going to get hurt as much as you enjoy it too. So,
Yeah,
do you have
absolutely.
a big loss sports wise in your life that you know still stings that you think about as far as your teams or players?
I mean, the first one I ever experienced was Thurman Munson. Um, Growing up in New York as a Yankee fan, that was, my parents having to explain to me that Thurman Munson had died was pretty bad. Um, Mike Bossy's passing hit me because that was one guy I'd always hoped that I would get to meet someday, and I never did. Um, those are probably two that strike me off the top of my head. Um, there was one other thing since you mentioned your Niners fandom that I thought I would show you.
All right.
I got to meet Montana once. A friend of mine in New York worked for actually it was Regis and Kathy Lee's show,
Okay.
and Montana was coming on as a guest, and she said, "Hey, do you want to come in and meet Joe Montana?" And I was like, "Yes." So I got to come in, and I cut that photo out of a book and brought it with me to get him to sign it for me. So that was, you know, like I said, my dad lived in San Francisco when I was in
Yeah.
high school, which was right around the time they were winning all the Super Bowls. And so I always had a little soft spot for the Niners and Joe Montana. As long as they weren't playing the Redskins, I was rooting for the Niners.
Yeah, I met him at the National in Chicago in 2019, and it was the first person that I had paid to meet at a convention like that. And there's so limited time, and I got it out. And I said, do you have any? I said something. Hi, I don't know. Any interest in sports cards? Because he's kind of got his hands in everything, especially if it's some kind of revenue stream or something. He just looked at me. He goes, no, and it just kind of shut me down. I'm like, at least humor me a little bit and tell me that, But some guys, even some of our favorite players have no interest in cards or collecting. So this is the start of half case number 2, guys. I showed you the list. Mark and Zach have the Rangers, and I'm gonna have to do something better here for these guys, or again, we're gonna find ourselves blocked. So, what products do you guys like that you look forward to when they release, or do you have something that every year you're like, okay, we're definitely getting? I don't know if you buy more than a box or a case, or Bowman's Best is coming. That's a
Not a
popular one
case.
here. Yeah.
We like I said, we do a lot of baseball, so certainly Series 1, Series 2 update. Topps Chrome is probably the one that I have the worst habit with, where I just can't stop buying it when I see it. Usually order a jumbo or a couple hobbies when they pre-order comes out, and then I find myself anytime I see it in stores, megas, hobby, blasters, whatever it may be. Oh, let's pick up a couple more of those. Maybe we'll get an MVP buyback in there or whatever. I just Topps Chrome is one of my favorites.
Bowman's probably your favorite.
But no, I think Topps Chrome's
Yeah.
popped it. Bowman Draft I like, although it's obviously hobby and jumbo only. It's very expensive. This year was really expensive. A fun one we like Topps Cosmic Chrome.
Okay, yep, that's a good one.
Just a fun rip more than anything else.
Love to rip a Sapphire one day.
Yeah, we haven't ripped any Sapphire boxes. We still have to answer to my wife when it comes to buying the really, really expensive boxes. And what
Just
else
say,
we
Mark.
do?
Just say it's work related. That's what
Yeah,
all these
exactly.
all these other degenerates sitting here watching. They tell their spouses it's for work purposes, and that's how they get away with it.
Oh, I've come up with some excuses in my life. Hopefully, she's not watching this.
Hey, so the next time you guys want wax, you better hit me up first because I get it at a pretty good price direct from Fanatics. So when you're ready,
Good to know.
I got you.
Good to know. Good to know.
So
so we do a lot of baseball and football and basketball is mostly retail stuff. The hobby boxes are just too expensive.
Yeah, it's I don't know how far back you can remember buying packs, but I remember them at 35 cents in 1983. I think it was 35 cents.
I remember a quarter. Quarter's the lowest I remember.
Caglione. So this is like the 5th or 6th Caglione we've hit since release day yesterday. So
Wow.
Royals, that's for Joe Denault. Yeah, look, I got an accountant right there. Jeff Shapiro, Mark says it's a write-off. So we've got lawyers here, accountants, probably some guys wanted from the law. We've got everything you need here. So we've got one of everything. It's a cool little community. That's for me, it's my favorite thing about collecting, because especially during the pandemic too, it was a nice place for people to go and just escape for a little bit. And I think everybody collects for their own reasons. Again, I love that you guys use it as a way to spend time together too. So it's pretty cool.
I think the fact that we do it together is the only reason my wife tolerates it.
So you got to find something that, like, for mine loves music. So that's how I kind of get back. Oh, you want to go to this concert or you want to do this? Okay. And I had to escape down here to what I call the break lab, which is my finished basement. And she was instrumental in me being able to do this full time because she's got the benefit. So she was literally holding all the cards. So
yep, the insurance cards.
Yeah, those are the most valuable ones here. So although I never leave the house, so I don't get sick and I never need anything. If something bothers me, I just open up some packs and make it go away. So, hey, so vacation plans? Are you guys going anywhere Christmas time, or you got anything? Gonna try to get out of work for a little while?
We may escape down to Florida for a few days, but that's about it. Nothing too crazy.
What's your son doing at Miami then?
He goes to the University of Miami. He's a sophomore there.
Sure. What field of study, or is he just kind of figuring it out?
He's studying sports administration. He wants to work in football, though, not baseball. So he's going to have to carve his own path because I don't really know anybody in football.
All right, setting up my. I think I showed you guys this stack, or did I not? I got distracted. Don't know if I took them off camera. We'll show them again. Yeah, so I was trying to get Jason in here to give you a hard time and harass you, but I don't know if he's.
Yeah, I pester him with my commander's questions all the time. Like, hey, what's going on with this guy? You think this guy's any good?
If I
Jason,
know him,
it's funny. I don't know if Jason and I have ever actually met in person or not. He's been reading me, and I've been reading him, and we're both frequent guests on the Tony Kornheiser podcast, and we've sort of bonded over those appearances and the fact that that we both appear on that show a lot. So, and he's had me on his radio show a number of times, and I always try to go on when Jason asks me, talk some O's.
Yeah, usually I see him on Twitter in my timeline because he'll get some guys going, and they just you can. He's got a lot of followers, and our guys love him. He's been in quite a few breaks here with me before too, but he starts talking smack about my Yankees. I'm like, yeah, I'm this close, Jason.
Yeah, he does not like the Yankees. I know
Yeah.
that.
He but yeah, good dude, and he's been great to our group and stuff too. And I mentioned Pedro. Just a lot of guys out there that collect, and we appreciate what they do to, because I mean it's one of those things where you can never have too many people in it. So here's Billy Amick twins. This is for Eric Greco, and I've ripped so much Bowman draft this week. I'm ready to rip some other stuff. What's you guys ever get your hands on anything old open, like just junk wax era for something cool to look through? Or
if we see some packs at a show or something, we haven't bought a box of anything. My best friend has definitely gone in and he'll call me and be like, "Hey, I got a box of 89 Donruss," or I'm going Griffey hunting. I'm like, "Good luck with that." I've
yeah,
ripped enough 89 Donruss in my life to last 3 lifetimes, I think.
So I'm sure you remember too, like when 89 Upper Deck dropped, we had a guy that lived outside of town that came into town, and I had about a dozen of my friends that were collectors in a small town, and he brought a case of 89 Upper Deck, and I mean he took us to the cleaners because we'd never seen it, and anything we could do to get. I forget. I got a box
There
from
are
him,
little
and
holograms on the cards.
yeah, I hit one Griffey, and you would have thought I hit the lottery. So here's Aaron Parker to 499 Blue Jays. So do you still have all the stuff from your childhood then in a binder, or?
I have a lot of it in binders. I have a few of them that it looked like they were in decent enough shape in top loaders. But most of the stuff that I had from way back when was not going to be survivable in conditions. I still have it all. I had a Ricky Henderson rookie that I swore I thought was in good shape, and I got it graded, and it was like a 4.5. I think maybe one of the oldest cards that I had that was in really good shape. I collected a lot of the original 85 Tops and O-Pee-Chee Wrestling WWF cards.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I have a Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth card that's like an 8.5 from that set. It's worth a few $100, I think. I just haven't brought myself to sell it because I love it. And I have some old Garbage Pail Kids cards as well that people love. But yeah, the 85 O-Pee-Chee WWF was one of my favorites, and I have a bunch of those. I sold a bunch of them, but I still have a bunch of them too.
Yeah, that was one of the things that popped during the pandemic was like the 80s wrestling stuff. It saw a big boost too. And I was getting into like the older comic cards and things like that, Batman and Superman and stuff from the 60s and whatever. I've got some of those floating around too. I'm for my parents were Elvis and Beatles fans, so I've got like older Elvis cards from the 50s and some Beatles stuff and things like that too. It's fun stuff to collect, and it's kind of a way to get away from the normal thing you see. So here's a Celestin to 150. This is supposed to look like an action figure, guys. That's for Brett Giordano. So Zach, do you ever go through and see some of the stuff, the older stuff, and you're just like, "What's the deal, man?" Stuff from the 80s, and
Or just
now
like,
if you guys,
how did you let it get this horrible condition?
so if you listen close, you can hear the yellow stuck together binder pages back in my room with my collection sticking together as I open them up, full of all my Mattingly and Ricky Henderson and Winfield and stuff like that. But
I'd be like, Dad,
what's funny is at the
what's
time,
that rectangle in the middle of the card? I'm like, oh, that's where the gum was stuck to it.
Yeah, Bradfield. But it's funny, those pages at the time were high-end cutting technology, and here we are. They're yellow, and you can smell them.
Yep.
now like every single card we pull goes either into a box or in a sleeve and a top loader, and
Right.
immediately.
So like when we were kids though, I mean, I remember, I mean, we really didn't top load a ton of stuff at the time. You just kind of you threw it in your binder, and you didn't, you know, the concept of putting it in a penny sleeve and then a top loader, you know, back then was like witchcraft. You never would have.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson rookie card was in a screw down holder, which
Still,
I mean,
still is.
no, it's not.
Oh no.
No, that's a different card.
Wow.
So I've got a Montana rookie in a screw down, and it'll stay there forever because I'm not cracking that thing open.
Right. Yeah, because you crack it open and it rips in half. What are you gonna do?
So Zach's probably pretty easy to shop for then, Christmas and birthdays and stuff.
He can be, although my wife has discouraged us from buying him any more cards. She's like, he has enough cards. I'm like, well, we'll see. You know, but the one year I will give him a lot of credit. What was it? 3 years ago? 3 years ago. For his birthday and the holidays, everybody said, you know, what do you want for this? And he said, cash. I want money. Because I was saving up to buy a Steph Curry auto.
Yeah.
And every check, every cash he got, he just put it away till he had enough and he knew exactly which one he wanted and he bought it. And you know, it's probably the most expensive card in this house, isn't it?
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some decent cards in my collection, but not yeah, go get it. What is that, a 25? Yeah, he's got a Curry auto out of 25. That's a pretty nice card. And it's the gem of his collection.
So Zach, how many of your buddies collect too? Or are you just a couple of you, or?
Yeah, a couple of my friends in school have some collections. Buy and sell, a lot of flipping. Yeah, flawless out of 25, sealed on card.
Oh
It's like
wow,
perfect everything.
dude, that's a nice card.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's nicer than anything I have.
Yeah, that's a good looking card.
My Brady rookie is probably
Yeah.
my best card at this point. But
my next definitely close second favorite. Volpe signed this one for me, one of the Cosmics. That one was really cool. When I met him at that Yankee show we were talking about,
Yeah.
he's a really nice guy, and he signed it for me. It was awesome.
he actually signed the full name.
Yeah, like I got
Not just a Volpe.
Yeah, that's yeah, I've got the in-person stuff is cool because, well, like the Soto I've got, no matter what happens with Soto, I'll never get rid of it because Soto handed me the card. And
Right.
yeah, you just, I mean, I don't know how, you know, I'm fortunate that I'm not in a position where you'd have to sell it. And I just, because every time I see that card, I'll remember that moment. And that's kind of how it works, you know?
So one of the fun things that I decided to do a year or two ago was I go on MLB Network a lot and I'm down at the studios and you know, they have a lot of former player analysts who I go on TV with and I've gotten to know over the years. So I decided to dig through all of my old cards and find cards of them and get them to sign them for me. So
Okay.
I got Ron Darling, Cliff Floyd, Bill Ripken, although I didn't have the Bill Ripken card, which bothered me because that's the one I really want to get signed. Darling, Floyd, Bill Ripken. I think there was one other one. Oh, Harold Reynolds. So I've gotten a bunch of, you know, guys who are my friends now, guys who I've gotten to know over the years. But I'm like, you know what? I want to get these guys to sign these, and I'm going to put myself a little MLB Network collection. So that's been fun. I still have to get Dan Plesac to sign one for me. And now there's a couple of, you know, Yonder Alonso. I've been on with him, and he's a great dude. So I just think it's fun to find a fun card of that. I bought a couple of these cards on eBay for like $1, just that I thought they were cool cards. There was a picture, a card of, I think it was Darling, like holding a camera or behind the camera or something. So it's been neat.
So, have you guys seen some of the display stuff that's out there where you can display? It's like a gigantic picture frame where you can display your graded cards or your top-loaded cards. And we work with some of the companies. There's one Display Vault. vaulted vinyl, things like that. Do you guys have any of that stuff going on, or?
Yeah, he's got two.
Two.
He's got two in his room. Frames with the top loaders in them. One of them has a bunch of his current. Is it all stuff?
It's like half
I
stuff.
think he's got one that's mostly Steph, and then he's got one that's the single most random PC in the history of PCs. For whatever reason, he decided a couple years ago he liked the Seahawks and a couple
Hey,
other guys.
Look what I did. Look what I did to you. This is for,
Oh God!
that's for John Perone. And this half.
Told you buying the D-backs was going to be a good buy for you. Whoever
Yeah.
got him this time. Anyway, he started collecting Dwayne Eskridge autos. He thought he was going to be a real big receiver. Didn't quite pan out, but he's got an entire frame full of Dwayne Eskridge
I
autos.
have 21 Dwayne Eskridge autos.
I think he's from around here because I think he's from south of here in Indiana, if I remember right.
He went to Western Michigan, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think he's from around here because my buddy that runs the card show was trying to get him to do an appearance. I'm drawing a blank here. I think he's from around here.
Yeah, he's on the Dolphins now. Pretty much kick returner.
So if I find something cool, Zach, are you still putting that together, or you just kind of put it off to the side?
Oh no, he still buys them every time we see him. You just don't see Dwayne Eskridge autos that often.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we will get on it. Dwayne Eskridge, guys, mark it down. We're pretty good at tracking that kind of stuff down. It's funny though because you get the parents looking for their kids as cards in some of the Bowman draft stuff or
right.
The games we do. I've met like Merrill's mom, Homer Bush's parents. Homer Sr. brought his World Series ring, so I got a picture. Super nice guy too, by the way.
Oh, Homer's the best. Great dude.
But you see what they go through as parents, the travel ball and all the other craziness and stuff. I mean, it's a life that if kids play travel sports and stuff, it's a crazy scene. It's super competitive and it's super expensive too.
Well, it's funny. We go to shows and Zach will be looking through boxes and he'll say to the guy at the table, "Do you have any Dwayne Eskridge autos?" And most of the time, the response is, "Who?"
Yeah,
hey, look at that. That's a Ranger.
Yeah, there you
Rangers?
go. That's Walcott.
All right.
You guys. Cool. I'll try to do better than that. I got to get you at least one auto.
I saw something shiny with a T on it. I figured might be as excited as we can get.
Yeah, I'll look into the Eskridge thing, and that's funny that you mentioned that because I'm trying to think. I've got some. So like I've got Robert Hassel stuff because Robert Hassel played here, and
right.
Just other people you run into that maybe aren't the biggest name, but you've just got some kind of connection to them. Jared Parker is from around here, so I talk to Jared a couple times a month. He's down in the Philly system now in Clearwater, helping them out. This is for Eric Martin, Blake Wright. Man, it would be cool if you guys found a way to do FanFest or the National. I think you'd have a good time, but obviously, work would be crazy for you.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can maybe get to Fanatics Fest this year. I know we have. Sorry, I'm just plugging my phone in because it's about to die.
It's also a 4.
Nope, I lost your volume, Mark.
Sorry, I muted you by accident. We may try to get. We may try to get to the Fanatics Fest on the Sunday.
There's a Bazana. Yeah, from Bluffton. That's about half hour from me. Yeah, he's from around here. Perfect. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, no. There's one pitcher, I forget who's from like right by where we live. Who was it again?
Pitcher?
Yeah.
I know David DeJesus is from the town next to where we live.
Okay. Yeah, Zach, don't get too specific with your address. You'll have all kinds of crazy people showing up. Doorbell at 2 a.m. What's going on with Soto?
Check the Ring app and just like
yeah, every movie you've seen where somebody, hey, my car broke down, can I use your phone? Don't fall for it. So, what kind of crazy stuff happens to you, Mark, in your line of work? Where, for me, like I mentioned, the people, hey, come look through my 80s and 90s stuff. What do you get? I mean, is it just assume that you've got the inside scoop on everything? Where you're like, guys, I don't know either.
Yeah, I get asked a lot about Soto. It's it's usually leading up to the trade deadline or things like that. I'll get a lot of here, just use that. I'll get a lot of people, hey, what's this? Give me the inside scoop on this, give me the inside scoop on that. And I'm always just like, oh sorry.
We're on box 3 out of 4. Oh, there he is.
Like if I had the inside scoop, I'd be reporting it because that's what I get paid for.
Yeah. You know how you solve that? You feed them wrong information one time and just let them get burnt.
Yeah,
And then
right.
come back to you. Hey, Soto to the Twins. You guys heard it first. Soto to the Twins.
MJ, to answer your question, I not only remember John Lieber, I covered him, and I am Facebook friends with him. John is a great, great dude. Big fan.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking the arson judge, or the bogus Jeff accounts where arson judge and some of the other stuff. Bob Nightingale. Yep. There's the fake ones out there where you're like, wait, what? And you're like, oh, it's an imposter account.
I've had an imposter account.
You ever get any trolls like that?
It's not fun. I had
one
of those imposter accounts once. It was not great.
Yeah, where you're like, this is all you've got to do is, mimic my account
Right.
and try to cause up drama.
I was still at the Daily News. We stuck our lawyers on it. It was a whole big because they were like really putting out some stuff that was really bad.
And you guys have definitely broken the record.
I mean, if we're gonna be watching the breaks anyway, right?
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it. You guys have been great. Zach, do you have any questions about anything or anything you want to share? You getting married anytime soon? Anything like that?
I think I'll wait maybe like a decade and then we'll talk.
Wait till you're about 45, man. You're talking to somebody that's done it twice. Wait till you're like 45.
I got a question for you that I know Zach would want to know the answer to. How'd you get into breaking?
Okay.
Because he's been for like 3 years. He's been like, Dad, we should start breaking. I'm like,
should.
I don't have the time for that right now. But how'd you get into breaking?
So I got back into the hobby, I'll say 2016. So, I mean, I collected off and on, kind of put them away. I'd get them back out, say like Soriano. Soriano came into the league. I got on eBay looking for Soriano stuff. Kind of got in and out, put them away, got back in. So about 16, I think, a friend I worked with at the factory I was at, worked at a Michelin factory. We started talking about cards, and he said, have you ever been in a break? I'm like, I have no idea what that is. This is for Eric Martin. And he goes, well, you got to check this out. So I sat in a break, I bought a spot, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is the coolest thing. And especially if it's a good community and stuff. And shout out Buck City Breaks. They were here before me, and to me, that's the benchmark. But and it's something we don't talk about here, but it pushed a lot of buttons for me, the excitement and the thrill of, hey, what am I going to hit and stuff. But then I was like, so the mail started coming in. And at the time, again, the wife, all this mail, I'm like, well, I need to try to sell this stuff. I can't just sit on stuff, hit random teams and things like that. So I'm like, it's so easy to get into breaks, but it's so tough to sell the stuff you don't want. So I'm like, what if I just got my own break group and we kind of put as much emphasis in trying to help people buy and sell and stuff. And the light kind of went off. My friend Chris at Top Shelf Breaks, based out of, I think he's Elgin, Illinois. We went to Cubs game. I picked his brain a little bit. And I use the Field of Dreams analogy a lot because it just kind of got in my head and I couldn't get rid of it. And and Zach, I was somebody that I'd never been on Facebook Live. I'd never streamed on YouTube. I'd never done any streaming from my phone, nothing. And that's the biggest takeaway I would give to somebody who's, especially older dudes like us where you just do it. I mean, the guys will tell you, go back and watch the first video. I mean, it was awful. It was a Classics football break. It was 2018 Classics football, and the spots were $2 each, and I still gave half of them away. But I was fortunate. We had a great core group of people, and I busted my ass. I still had the safety net of my full-time job to fall back on, but we just found awesome people, Mark, where it was a solid community. They were friendly, and it just kind of blew up from there. We had some attention from Gary V. I don't know if you know who Gary V is.
Yep.
And then Phil Hughes came along. Phil brought us a bunch of people. Phil's always been awesome to our group and our community. And then the pandemic, and it just, these waves of cool stuff happening and people getting involved. And it just grew. And Zach, I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos, the screaming and the going nuts and the guys in half shirts and the guys on Instagram shaking and all that stuff. And for younger guys, that's probably okay. But for guys in their 30s, 40s, whatever, we just want to rip cards and hang out and talk. And it just kind of blew up, and it got to a point where it was getting bigger than my full-time job. And my wife was like, she's got the benefits. She said, well, you got to do this, this, and this. She's the sensible one. She gave me some terms and conditions, and I met them all, and I'm like, okay, let's do. And I left a career at Michelin. I was there 22 years to do this full time 3 years ago. And I'm sure you get all kinds of old man advice from your dad too, but it's just one of those things, you find something you love. And this kind of found me accidentally. And, somebody in their 40s giving up a career like that. But I love my job. I put in a ton of hours every week. And even if it's not break, Zach, whatever you find, if you enjoy it, I mean, that's half the battle. And wait till you're older and you talk to your friends who are miserable at their jobs. Do something you love. If you want to go to college, if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever, but it's got to be something you're passionate about and you enjoy. But if you're looking to get into breaks, and the thing I would say to you is grow your community first and don't worry about how much money you're making off of it, and just put out content, dude. Are you doing any kind of streaming or putting anything out there right now?
Not much right now.
Yeah, and like I said, for me, I'd never been on Facebook Live. I'd never been on YouTube. I mean, I checked the stuff out, but I'd never streamed and been on camera. And I'm on my best day, attractiveness, I'm probably about a 4 on my best day. So it doesn't matter. You just get on there and you be yourself. And if it's something you're looking to do, hell, Zach, you could put some content on ours. I'll boost it to all my channels, dude, just to help a young dude that's, in the hobby and active and stuff. And it's as simple as, guys here in the chat, how many of you guys just wanted to go live and just open up packs and show people cards? And Zach, you could show them your collection. You could show them who you collect and why. Just go on and open packs. But are you kind of thinking about doing some breaks on the side or something?
I don't know. You never know.
I think the biggest hurdle initially is just getting the product to break and getting.
Just tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want, Zach. And I don't know what social media you have, but you can just DM me. Mark, I'll give you my cell phone number.
Cool.
Zach, you tell me what you want, and you can. We do live auctions here, Zach. You can go live and auction stuff you don't want through this. And all it is, it's as simple as, I'm not going to set it up right now, but I could say, hey, guys, I've got this Noble Meyer. We're going to start the bidding at 99 cents. I punch it in, and guys just sit here and auction stuff they don't want. You can sell the stuff you don't want. You can buy the stuff you want. But I think the thing is, just do it. Just start doing it. Just start streaming, whether it's live on Instagram. You're more than welcome to book a half hour here and go live and do whatever. And that's the thing. Just do it. Just, if you want wax, you tell me what you want. I'll get you a hobby box cheap, and you can open it or whatever you want to do, man. It's especially if you like it. I wouldn't get too caught up in, if wax is the only thing holding you back, it's a no-brainer. For me, I was nervous about being on camera. I don't rewatch my own stuff, but you get to a point, it's tougher when you're a young kid, but you get to a point where you really, pardon my French, you don't give a shit what people say about you, what they think is funny, or it's a comfort level. You just learn by being comfortable around these guys. Are all my friends. All these guys are my friends, and we all have our quirks and our things, and you just don't take yourself too seriously. You just go on and do it, dude. So I'll get you my number or whatever you want to do. You want to try it here? You want to try it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever? I'll retweet it, promote it. You tell me what products you want. I'll get you a box and just try. That's all you got to do is just try it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I will definitely think more about it now.
I'm sure I'm going to hear more about it now.
Yeah. So, and for the business side of it, Zach, you take what you spent, what your other costs are, like your platform fees, what you think you'll spend in shipping, things like that, and you come up with a total. And then if you're doing like a 30-team random, I'm sure you've seen a random break, just divide it by 30. If you're looking to price it based on the checklist, that's a little tougher. I've got my friend here, Adam. He was here in the chat, Furtman. He breaks down the checklist and prices them for me. I would maybe try a random and just sell 30 spots and just go from there and keep it easy. We use random.org, but dude, me and my group will help you. Zebra Breaks is in here. He is actually a wrestling referee too. So if you guys have any interest in wrestling related stuff, but we'll help you out. If you just come up with a list of questions, our platform, you see how easy it is to go live and connect. If you want to come on for a half hour and mess around, dude, I'm all for it. So
cool.
Yeah, I will definitely.
I got long-winded there, but I'm passionate about helping young people pursue what they like, dude. So don't whatever you see as an obstacle, we'll eliminate it, man.
Definitely auction some stuff.
It's super easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm sure you have a stack of stuff you don't want, right?
Of course.
All right, so let's I got one box left, guys. Let's throw Mark and Zach here in an auction experience before I rip the last box. So let me find something here. Let's auction. Let's auction something simple. All right, here we go. Here's a Volpe CGC 10. So here's how easy it is. And you can you can do 7 days, you can do 10 days. If you want to do live stuff, this is probably a little too good to auction, but screw it. Here we go. So normally I would take a picture, but I can't because I'm live with you, but you would include a picture, and I'm just going to call it Volpe. And this is live, guys. You can bid on it, and it's your card. I don't care. I'm just going to call it Volpe CGC 10. So you can put your description, 7 days, 10 days. The live one is a little tougher. I'm going to start at $1. And I almost got screwed because I had it set on buy now. So live auction. I'm going to set it at 45 seconds. All right, no picture. Again, this isn't the full. Okay, so it's on the stage now. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
See where it says Volpe CG? Okay, so I'm going to start the auction, and here we go. Oh, I didn't start yet. All right, so you should see some bids come through. This is legit, guys. If you win it, it's your card. So, and Zach, you can do pre-work and list all your stuff the day before or whatever, and just pull them up one at a time. But it's that easy. You can set it to whatever time. If you want to do 7 days, you can do 10 days, 3 days, 1 day, whatever. But you could do your own little stack sale, and that'd be a good way to get your feet wet.
Yeah.
Just do a stack sale and go through a bunch of stuff. And we've had some guys make like $500 an hour. A couple guys do like $800 in an hour. Maybe if you knew somebody with a lot of followers, you could get a retweet out of them, get some eyes on it. If you knew somebody there in the house.
No card stuff on that account.
Yeah,
we have like 500 followers on our card account. We're getting there.
Yeah. So if you post it on your card account, I'll retweet it. So all right, so Chris Mason just won the Volpe for $20, and Chris is in Canada, so I'm not going to send that to him till the strike's over. So till the postal strike's over. But Zach, you can try that, something like that, no pressure. If you've got a stack of stuff you just want to burn through, the shipping is the rough, unsexy part of it. I don't know, but you guys have you ship stuff back to me, Mark.
Yes.
Do you do a lot of shipping, Zach?
We do it. We do.
I do most of
fair
his
enough.
shipping, but yes. He actually, so Zach worked for, I don't know if you've ever heard of Santiago Sports. They're it's a local card shop in Jersey, and the owner, Tyler Santiago, has gotten a pretty good reputation. He's a young guy. He's like 27 or 28.
Yeah.
He opened his own shop. He now has
Okay.
2 of them. He's moving into a bigger location. Anyway, Zach helped him out with some breaks for
Yeah, I did like behind the scenes, like
Oh,
you
okay.
know, sorting and
weaving.
sleeving and all, you know, the little grunt work behind the scenes. So he got a little taste of it there, but they're more of an in-person shop, and you know they still do a lot of breaking, but you know, at least gave him a little taste for it. I think if you ask Zach right now, what would you love to do for your life? I think owning a card shop would be number one.
Owning a card shop.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I've already said we'll open one up once he retires, and
Right.
he can manage it every day when I'm like busy, you know. And then after college, maybe I'll like help you out a little bit.
Wait, you think I'm gonna be retired before you were out of college?
I guess that would work.
Yeah, the math might
I'm
be
turning
off there a little
50
bit,
in
but
2 weeks, not 60 or 70.
yeah. My older son hit me the other day with we were talking about my car because he wanted to buy my car, and he said, "This is probably you probably only need one more car, won't you?" And I'm like, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?"
I don't know. How many miles do you think I'm driving this car?
Yeah. So you probably only need one more car. Do you guys have a label printer at home and stuff? Do you print your own postage or?
I don't. Right. I was doing postage off eBay when I was still selling off eBay, but I have shunned eBay for my life. So, I know somebody told me about Pirate Ship. I haven't tried it out yet.
Yeah, I use stamps.com. There's a bunch of them. The printers and the labels are pretty cheap too, so that's something to think about too. But that's the least fun part about this because I ship about 200 orders a week and usually spend my weekend. My son Derek helps me too,
Right.
and that's the least fun part of it. And the thing is, you got to get it out the door. People want it; they want to know it's shipped right away. Yep. And but yeah, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't grab a box of something, sell off the spots, and tell your friends about it, and do a little rip night. And you'd need bubble mailers, stuff like that. But
yeah, for sure.
That's
awesome.
the thing. Is getting the shipping down. This is for John Perone. If it blows up, Zach, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I like the card shop idea because, hey, Dad, who can you get me this week to show up at the card shop?
Exactly.
Montgomery to $4.99.
Like, I could come sign cards for you.
We could have like an unlimited supply of
Right.
Mark Feinsand Ginter autos. One free one with every sale.
I mean, I've got this box of my base card that I can sign for people. It's part of the deal with Fanatics is you get a big box of your base card so you can give them to your family and friends.
So is that a thing where you're like, hey guys, and Mark sent us a card again?
Yeah. I've not just offered them up to people because if people don't want them, I don't want to give them to them. But all my friends and family who ask me for cards, I'll sign one and give them to them. I actually during Thanksgiving, one of my cousins asked me for a card, so I signed one for my other cousin as well, figuring like if I give it to one, so I gave it to both of them, and the one who hadn't asked for it left it at my house. So I was like, all right, I guess they didn't really want it, so that's fine. I'll take it back and give it to somebody else.
Back in the days of the custom cards, the two of you should have got a custom card made from Topps. That would have been cool. John Spikerman, which may not be his real name. That's numbered to 10. Phillies, that's for Joe McGee.
Oh yeah, I've got those. Right.
So, Mark, do you kind of in your head check off like, hey, I've been to every stadium. You kind of have that thing going on where
I had all 30. San Diego had been my last. The new San Diego, because I had been to Jack Murphy Stadium years ago. The new San Diego was my last one. I finally got there. I don't know, however many years ago, probably 2016, 15 or 16, whenever the All-Star game was there. And then they opened Atlanta and Texas, and I was like, great, I'm back at 28. I got to Atlanta for the World Series in 21. So that left me Texas, and I got to Texas last year for the All-Star game. So now I'm back at 30 for 30 till I don't anticipate going to Sacramento anytime soon for the Athletics during their layover there. I will definitely go to their place in Vegas once they open there. And the Rays are playing at Steinbrenner Field, which I spent 16 years of spring training there. So I know that I've already been there.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I figured just let the Rays cancel their
At least,
season.
at least the Yankees are
If
making
if they don't have a
something.
play, yeah, if they don't have a place to play, that's on them.
It's just more money to pay Soto.
I mean, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
fault
you're
them
right.
for a hurricane ripping their ballpark to shreds. That's
Yeah, that's fair.
right.
That's fair. All right, so got about another half a box here to hit you guys some Rangers action, but it's
Yeah, we're not very good luck. We were good luck for the guy who got Arizona after us.
well, we had the Pearl pack, we had the
And
Variety pack. I'm giving you guys credit for
Yeah.
that. So
Zebra, I'm a little wary. I don't know what's going to happen there. I really hope the Rays stay in Tampa in the area because I think their fans are actually a really good fan base. It's just tough. You know, the Trop is tough. I like it work wise. It's a great place to work. And when the place is full, which doesn't happen that often, but when it's full, it's actually a great atmosphere. The first time I ever saw it like that was in the '08 World Series against Philly. Actually, '08 ALCS against the Red Sox. And when it was full and the play was great. Um, it's tough in St. Petersburg for the Tampa fans to get over. That bridge is a nightmare during rush hour, and vice versa. If they moved to Tampa, then it would be tough, for fans from St. Pete to come over there. But um, it's I hope they stay in Tampa. It would be a shame to see them leave that area.
so switching gears a little bit, where's the next team?
Wait a
Nashville?
second. Was that a Texas Rangers auto?
It's coming. I'm
Oh,
top-loading
okay.
for it first.
Yeah.
Casey Cook.
hey, there we go.
Casey Cook. I don't know anything about Casey Cook, but there
Look
you
on the
go.
back. What
I did
round
it.
was he drafted in?
They're gonna make me try to read this. Third
All right.
round, 103rd
All right.
overall.
It's a very, very nice autograph.
Third rounders get to the big leagues.
Yeah, he's got a system there. That's not the worst I've seen.
Looks like a lightning bolt.
Yeah, all right. Congrats. We hit one. I waited till the very last piece of the stack, but so Nashville's the next team, you think?
Nashville, Charlotte, Portland, Montreal still wants a team. Yeah, Nashville strikes me as if there is expansion, I would not be surprised if Nashville gets a team. Um, they're going to have to figure out, make sure the Rays are staying in Tampa before they do anything with expansion. But Nashville, Charlotte, Portland. What am I missing? San Antonio. Nashville and Portland feel to me like two cities that have a good shot to get the expansion teams if and when they ever happen.
My theory is Nashville gets a team and Mattingly is the manager because he's on the he's on the board or whatever for Nashville. I think at least he was.
Oh, the other one is Utah. Salt Lake City's got a big
That's what someone just said.
thing they're trying to put together. Mark Teixeira is part of that, I believe.
We could contract a couple teams. I know there's 2 teams in New York already. There's a team in Boston they're not using. If we need to vote.
Might be able to get rid of one of those LA teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do a recap here. Zach, do you use Discord at all? Are you familiar with Discord? So we have, if you check out my Twitter, I've got the link to our Discord, our Break Club Discord. When you go in, there's a little welcome message. You just got to scroll down to the bottom and click the green check mark. It's kind of a way we keep bots out.
Mm-hmm.
But you're more than welcome to join our Discord. Pop in there and look around, hang out, ask questions, and
yeah, for sure.
We'll take care of you. We keep it friendly. Just don't come in there and we get some. I'm sure you've seen some weird stuff in Discord, but we get our share in there too. But yeah, if you want to join a Discord and talk hobby with us or hang out or whatever. Mark, I know you're too busy, but you're more than welcome.
Actually, it's funny, when I decided to shun eBay, I moved over to a Discord group, and that's where I've been doing most of my buying and selling. So
you can tell you guys got me distracted because I had a stack back here. Yeah, Mark, if you want to join our Discord too, we'd love to have you. That'd be awesome. Turn your alerts off because sometimes there's a lot of them. But, yeah. So there was your Walcott.
Yeah.
And then Mike wants to know if you buy and sell stuff besides cards.
The only other stuff that I've ever really toyed around with is I have a big ticket stub collection. I've gotten a handful of them graded. Most of them are ungraded. And I haven't really sold many of them, but I have.
Those PSA slabs are huge.
So that's Reggie Jackson's 3 home run game.
Oh, wow.
And then that's the Buckner game.
Huh. That's cool.
Orioles fans might want to shield their eyes from this one, but that's the Jeffrey Mayer game.
Nice. We've got some Orioles fans. A lot of them are too young to remember it.
Oh, Lock and 4. You don't want to see that Jeffrey Mayer game, do you? No. Yeah, so I've gotten a handful, but I have I have a lot more ticket stubs that I have not graded that I just have in sort of semi-rigid sleeves. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have a lot of other collectibles that I buy and sell. It's mostly cards. That seems to take up enough of my time. I think if I started with something else, do I keep my press passes? I do. I have a whole lot of them. I had a big mural of them at one point, and then, well, in the last bunch of years, I've just sort of hung them in my office like that.
Zach, if you could send me one of those, I'm just gonna. Hey guys, it's Mark. I'm on official business.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they're all dated for certain events, so they wouldn't really help you.
Yeah. They don't check that.
They might not have pre-2001. They do now.
Yeah, they check everything. All right, I'm just scanning through my breaks. I think we've got 9 teams left in Super Jumbo number 5. If you guys want to do 10% off on that, we're almost out of time too. I've got a new breaker starting at 10, bat flip break, so I don't want to run it in his time. But let's if you guys got a couple more minutes, we'll hit you with some other stuff, and then maybe we'll let you go. If there's something here, I'm trying to look if there's something here we can rip. Let me see. You know what? Let's do this. Let's rip you guys, since you like Topps Chrome. Let's see what I can pull for you out of here.
MJ, yes, I was at the Pedro Zimmer game, by the way. That was
oh, so that's their button they push for me because they know I don't like Pedro because he threw Zimmer out. That's mostly for me.
That was one of those 2 years, 03 and 04, covering those Yankees Red Sox series were just unbelievable. I mean, both of those series were crazy, and those teams legitimately did not like each other. And they were great series,
Let's
except for Game 7 of 04. Not because of who won; it was just a bad game. The other games were so interesting, and certainly Game 7 of 03 was fascinating, and it would have been fascinating even if Pedro had held on to that lead and they'd won. Game 4, it was just like by the third inning, you're like, all right, I can start writing because this game is over.
Yeah, I don't want to go down this road. I went to Arizona for a Tops thing a couple years ago, and I got near all the Luis Gonzalez stuff, and I'm just like, yeah.
That was the first year I covered the Yankees. Was 01. That was a crazy postseason. The whole postseason, the Oakland series with the flip play and Jeter falling into the stands, and then going to beat Seattle and their 116 win team, and then that Arizona series was just bonkers from start to finish. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting introduction to postseason baseball as a beat writer.
So so have you educated Zach, or did he on his own go back and kind of learn about some of that stuff, or he just kind of, for you it's just urban legend, Zach, or are you pretty caught up in the history?
I wouldn't say I'm the most knowledgeable on the subject, but
I've written some books on the Yankees, and I keep telling him he should read them.
I read one of them.
Yeah. He read the one about the 2009 team, so he knows a little bit about that one. My book, The Franchise, he has not read yet, and he would learn a lot more about. He would learn a lot more about Yankee history if he read The Franchise.
Yeah, that's the one. That's my next one on the list.
Yeah, right.
So let's plug some of your work then, Mark. What do you got out there that we can check out?
So I've got
some of these guys can't read. I bet guys from Ohio that can't read, so you have an audio version of it.
I've got 3 books all on the Yankees. So if you're it's okay. So if you're not a Yankee fan, you might not quite want to read them. But Mission 27, I wrote with my buddy Brian Hoke about the 2009 Yankees championship season. I have a book called The New York Yankees Fans Bucket List, which is sort of a fun book about like things every Yankee fan should know, do, see, read, collect, whatever it may be. And then The Franchise was the last book that I wrote, and that's more of a historical look at the franchise told through a bunch of different essays and stories. And
Okay,
it was that one's a pretty cool book. If you're a baseball fan, there's stuff in there that you'll appreciate, even if you're not just a hardcore Yankee fan. I don't have any audio books out.
You mentioned the 2009 team. Again, I mentioned Homer, Bush, and then, like I said, when Phil started joining our group and brought some people over and stuff, it was, he's told some pretty funny stories too and stuff. But
Phil's all over the book. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
I've known Phil since he was 18 years old. So Phil and I go back to like 2007, maybe.
Okay.
Great dude. Big fan.
It's funny to see that perspective of it. And he was at the National in Chicago, and people grow up and stuff and get older and stuff. You get people that I think people think that you look exactly the way you did on your card in 2004. Right. And it's like, yeah, it's not how it. I had a guy, I said, well, what did you look like, 25 years ago or whatever? And he's a good sport. And like I said, Homer was freaking awesome. He was great with his time. And Homer Bush Jr. is a great dude too. And you can tell he gets it from his parents. But I will check out. Maybe I'll get a copy and see if you'll sign it. Of course. I would test Zach because I can kind of tell he's got to tell. I don't think he's read as much as he's telling you he's read. So
I know he read Mission 27 because he had to write a book report on it for school one year. So
how cool is that?
Yeah. And then the next time he had to pick a book, my wife said, "You're not picking one of Dad's books again. Read something else."
Yeah. What have you read, Zach, that you like?
I don't read very much.
This is a tough question for any 16-year-old these days, I think. They just don't read that much. They read what they have to for school.
Yeah, I don't miss that at all. So let's this is for you guys. I know you like Topps Chrome. Let's see what we can find in this update
Let's
mega.
go. How about
I'd
how about
love to
this?
pull
How
you
about the
guys an
schemes
auto.
card? What did you pull that? I'll give you half.
Technically, I would still. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to. There'd be so like the Pirates deal. You'd have to. I mean, I want to be on MLB Network. I'm gonna need to meet some
You know
people.
what? If you pull the schemes card here, I'll get you on MLB Network. How about that? I can make that happen.
No pressure. No pressure.
My guys on Hot Stove will think this is the greatest story ever if this happened.
Oh, that would be yeah. So we had Hosmer in some breaks. He's a big card guy a couple weeks ago too, and we were just laughing about some of the possibilities and some of the deals that are out there on the skiing stuff too. It's funny.
Crazy.
I don't think I'd want Pirates tickets for 30
Yeah,
years.
no.
I think that would go
bad
straight to
boys,
like
but-
Golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're a huge fan, there's no reason to take that deal.
Yeah.
Cheerio Refractor, or is that Hyper?
Spencer Arrighetti. Just tell myself that's Dave Righetti.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? It's backwards. It's backwards. It might just be something they put in here
They
backwards.
do that half the time. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Sick!
Manzardo to $2.99.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I don't. So that third break I told you about, Super Jumbo 2-box number 5. I don't think we're gonna get it tonight. It'll rip tomorrow. I'm confident it will, but I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. But you've got a spot in that too. I don't think we'll get it, and plus I'm gonna run out of time. But look at that.
That's awesome.
Manzardo. I'm not a failure. Zach, I'm not a failure. Look at that. And there's Art Kinney. He's a Cleveland guy
I was
too.
gonna say your Guardians guys must like that.
Yeah, and I think the Guardians guys are pumped about Manzardo too. That's the $2.99.
I think he's gonna be good. I like Manzardo.
Yeah.
The two guys that I started collecting in the last couple of years that so far not so panning out, but I bought a bunch of Nolan Jones, who still could pan out. He was just hurt last year, and Vinny Pasquantino. Those are two guys I thought were going to be really good, and I started buying a bunch of their autos and a bunch of their rookies. So still young, still got a chance, but I like Manzardo.
Yep, Eric Martin there, our Colorado guy. He loves Nolan Jones too. So
yeah, I trust me. I hope Nolan Jones is really good.
There's a Westberg,
Nice.
Checkerboard, or X-Fractor. I've heard it called both. And there's a Yamamoto for you.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome.
Hey, so later this week, before I mail all your stuff out, you guys need supplies. Is there anything? Sounds like you pretty much have it down. But if you need something, Zach, you can DM me, or Mark, you can DM me too. But I mean, I got you 2 autos at least.
Yeah. Hey, no complaints here.
That Ranger spot.
And we brought good luck to the
now that I have
Diamondbacks
a
in the
chance to
second
be on-
part.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now that I have a chance to possibly be on MLB Network, I'm going to find that.
Gotta
I don't.
find that.
So I didn't hit one of those patches last year, and we have not hit one yet this year. And I know they're popping up. And I've got a case of Topps Chrome Jumbo.
Oh, all right.
I haven't built into breaks yet, so I'm hoping there's something in there. But the patches are cool, and you guys see how aggressive the players are about trying to get their patches
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. For sure.
I know Andrew Solfrank, who's from around here. He just he got his patch back, and it's cool to see. And I like how Topps is doing it. I guess are there things that excite you about the hobby, or things you're like, yeah, I kind of don't, without cornering you too much? I mean, are there things besides the prices? Obviously,
I just like.
Is there anything you like?
I like some of the new products they've put out. They're trying to make them a little more fun. Like I remember buying some of the Bowman University stuff before they did all the chrome. They were kind of bland looking, just generic Bowman cards.
Yeah.
The fact that the last couple of years the Bowman Chrome U is all chrome and the cards are really, I think the quality's really good and they're just
autos.
they're cool looking. There's more autos. They're just I appreciate that they're trying to make the products a little better overall. Because if you like even something like Cosmic Chrome, like what a cool concept. And those are they're kind of goofy, but they're cool looking. And a couple of them, if you hit a good one, you can actually make a little money on it. But we just like ripping what we like, and So I appreciate sort of the variety of products that are out there now.
So what's funny, Mark, there was a day when a rainbow was getting the tops, the Fleer, and the Donruss. That was like the Sandberg rainbow. You got 83 tops, 83 Fleer, 83. That was our rainbow to get all
That's
three
right.
manufacturers. And
That's right.
Now it's impossible. And you guys, so I know you're working on your rainbow, but is there anything else sets you're trying to put together, or anything that you've got a list where you're trying to fill it?
I don't think
Not
so.
really.
We collected a couple random like insert sets.
When Zach first started getting into it, we tried to we collected like all the My House NBA set.
Yeah, that was cool.
Sure.
What was the other one we did? Heroes.
We did
Prestige
Heroes, Prestige. Those were cool too.
Why don't you try collecting the entire downtown set next?
Oh, just all the kabooms.
Yeah, all the kabooms. That'd be great. I have one kaboom. It's Chase Young, and he's not even on my team anymore. So,
Yeah, it's I've tried a couple things. That the thing I'm kind of casually working on is autographs of 98 Yankees guys, and I cannot find Wells in a Yankees uniform.
I'll give you an interesting tidbit. You're never going to find it.
Okay.
From what I was told, he refused to sign any Yankees cards. And the reason he would, even at shows, he would sign a Blue Jays card, Orioles card, Tiger, whatever other teams he was on. The only Yankees cards he ever signed were his own that he was going to leave to his kids.
All right.
And this is at least what I've been told. But the fact that you said you've never seen a Wells card signed on a Yankees card leads me to believe that it's right. He thought that if he did that, he would be leaving his kids something valuable that they could potentially make money on someday, or just to have. But apparently, the legend that I have heard is that David Wells has never signed a Yankees baseball card.
Wow. And I thought, well, I'm just not really looking that hard. I've got a signed, I got a signed magazine that he signed, but
yeah, you can find like Yankees pictures or cover Sports Illustrated or that kind of thing. But from what I was told, he never signed a Yankees baseball card, and still to this day has not.
Have you seen his autographed baseball collection? That thing is crazy.
I've heard about it. I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
So let me real quick. Let me bust out a couple Yankees things here for Zach to show him. Okay, here's a couple good ones. Hang on, Zach. Oh, there you are. So here's Mantle. There's my Mantle.
Nice. Best autograph ever.
So nice. Him and Mo.
So there's Phil. Phil put a little thing on there too.
I got one of those over there.
Jeter. I love the Jeter. Again, I named my son Derek after him. Tino. I don't think Tino gets enough love. I love Tino.
Yeah, we have a Jeter ticket stub.
There's Joe D.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I do not have a Joe D.
I'll probably never find a Maris and never want to pay the money for it. I've got a Yogi.
Yep.
I think there's a Whitey around here too. Yeah. So Zebra says something Posada. Neither does Posada. I don't know. I might have missed something.
I didn't know that.
Huh. I like. So.
We were at the Garden.
Oh, is it
right on the couch? You
guys destroyed the record. I appreciate the heck out of your time, and
we pulled this.
You guys can come back.
We pulled this out of Finest, and this was one of Zach's first favorite players.
Brett Gardner? Yeah.
Nice.
Brett Gardner, purple. Out of 125. I'm negotiating with him to see what he's going to trade me for it.
Yeah, I love Gardy and just the energy, and I always think back of beating the bat on the top of the dugout and stuff. We got somebody there. Midnight Gardner, is that Brett?
That would be funny if it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you see the chat on there? There's a
Yep.
YouTube chat
Yep.
post. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. So come back on anytime and then hit me up if there's something I can help you with. It. I meant what I said about the wax, and Zach, if you want to try some stuff out or hang out or do an auction night or whatever. I appreciate you guys' time. You destroyed the record, so I don't know anybody. My own family members won't talk to me this long. So
I was waiting. My wife was out. I was waiting for her to come home and be like, "You guys are still on this thing?"
yeah, it's the people that don't. It's funny because I could do this all night long, talk cards, but then you start talking to me about other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. But you guys are more than welcome to join the Discord, and I appreciate you. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. And if you want to let me know first when Soto signs with the Yankees, I'll tell everybody. And
Just it's at Feinsand on X. You can that's where it will be as soon as I know. Our card account is VMF Cards, but my work account where you can find the news is at Feinsand.
If it's not the Yankees, I guess I don't want to know about it. We'll let. I got somebody already saying it's not happening, but if I pull the Skeens card for somebody else, I'm gonna come up with some kind of way to say it's yours, so we can make a deal.
If you pull the Skeens card, whether it's for me or not, you let me know, and I'll see what I can do about getting you on Hot Stove in the morning.
It's like Pawn Stars. Best I can do is a Samad Taylor at a top score black.
It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, hey, cool guys. I appreciate it, and it was a lot of fun, and hopefully I hit something cool for you in the Rangers spot. But yeah, it was great, and I mentioned again, I appreciate what you're doing. I love that you're collecting together and having a lot of fun, and you guys are doing it right. And I appreciate your work too, Mark. And I'll have to see if Jason wants to try to beat this record. And
I was gonna say,
we'll probably
tell him he's got a big challenge ahead of him if he wants to.
Yeah, and anytime you guys need anything from us or our community, we're here for you. So I appreciate you. And if I don't talk to you, have a good holiday and enjoy what you're doing. And I watch for some breaking news, and I'll retweet what I can. And I'll have this out to you here sometime early next
Awesome.
week. And
I'll be in Dallas for the winter meetings, hoping to break some news. So hopefully you'll have a lot of stuff going on next week.
All right, I will. I'll follow, and I'll try to get you guys some followers on that card account.
Yeah,
too,
I appreciate it. And
awesome.
thanks everybody for your questions and hanging out. And this was a lot of fun.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you very
All right,
much.
take it easy.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See ya. You too. All right, guys. So, bat flip breaks here in about 15 minutes. I don't know if any auctions are left, but that was cool as hell. So, pretty pumped about that. Apologize for anybody that had trouble keeping up with the card stuff, but not very often you get somebody like Mark on here for over 2 hours to talk to us. And Zach is pretty cool too. So, and yeah, I meant what I said. I'd love to be collecting with my old man. So, all right, guys, I'll be around for a little bit. If you need something, DM me, and we'll kind of regroup. And I'm going to come live again here in a little bit when Hank from Bat Flip is ready to go. So we'll see you again here in a little bit.